Are we on? Are we on? Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Poole Harding. And oh boy, we have a very special guest. This basketball head is a Long Island Lutheran legend. Some say he's one of the greatest players to ever play in New York State. And I'm second that motion, for sure. He was a part of that 1975-1976 legendary team ranked number one in the nation by the iconic Street and Smith basketball magazine. He played with the legend Wayne McCoy, who was a 4-year high school All-American. I'm going to say that again. 4-year high school American. He also played with Mike McDuffie, Winston Nicholas, and Kevin Calloway. But this basketball head came into his own. And what he did was simply amazing. Scoring 76 points in one game, surpassing Wayne McCoy's 70 points school record, becoming the only player in Lou High history to lead his team in scoring, rebound, and assists. That's what you call stuffing the stat sheet. During his senior year, this basketball head was heavily recruited by top colleges and universities, such as North Carolina, Wake Forest, Providence, and NC State. But this basketball head chose the University of Florida, maybe because of his legendary high school coach, Ed Vischer, who was hired as an assistant coach to Florida University. After becoming a 3-year starter at Florida, he decided to transfer to Tennessee State University. After bumping heads with the new Florida head coach, Norm Sloan. After sitting out a year, this basketball head took advantage of his last year of eligibility at TSU to lead his team in scoring, rebounds, and second in assists. He was back on his grind. Once his college career was over, he was drafted by the world champion Philadelphia 76ers, which was my team back then because of the icon, Dr. J, who was a phenom just like our next guest on Long Island. This basketball head spent 2 years trying to make the team, but eventually decided to go back to school and pursue his degree at Hofstra University, then headed straight to Wall Street. This basketball head started his own hedge fund and had a lead seat on the Pacific Stock Exchange. He was also a researcher for a small commodities company while becoming a college professor in finance at California State University. This basketball head also founded the Applied Security Analysis Program, short for ASAP. The name was changed to Titan Capital Management, but we'll get into all of that later because there's so much more to this basketball head on and off the court. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the show, Long Island Lutheran high school legend and Tennessee State University great, Professor Michael Milligan.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. why I'm buying tickets, cause the game about to start.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, Mike? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Wow.
Hey, listen.
It's a lifetime ago. It's a lifetime ago for
Let
me.
me tell you, brother, if I would have kept reading, because there was so much more to your bio, so much more that you've done. But I said, you know what? Let's let the man explain, what's happening in his life. Man, let me tell you, it's been a few years now trying to get you on and making sure we get everything right, man. So I want to say thank you for coming on, and we appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you. Everything you have done in New York, especially out in Long Island, and we're going to get into those battles between Long Island and the city, which they don't even do no more. And I think I might have to bring that back, man. But
hey,
that's we're gonna talk about that for sure.
I'm gonna start off just by saying this. There were some battles.
Yes.
And part of the battles came from the fact that the guys from the city didn't think guys from Long Island could play. So, they always came in with a chip on their shoulder, and we guys on Long Island were like, okay, we're going to show you what we can do. But at the same time, as you read, my sophomore year at Lutheran, I was the only one on the team, only starter from Long Island.
Wow.
All the other stars were either from Queens or Mike McDuffin was from Harlem. So
we're going to get into that because still to this day, they got kids coming from Africa, the Bahamas, Bermuda, and all over the world. So salute to Luha and everything y'all guys are doing over there for the girls and boys side. For those of you who are just joining us, and this is your first time on New York City basketball history from the New York City Basketball Network, Basketball Heads Podcast, please hit that like button and subscribe. Subscribe to the show because we are celebrating New York City and New York State at its finest. So please. All right.
So let me say this.
Go ahead.
Lehigh was a legendary program before I got there. And Lehigh continues to be a legendary program to this day.
Definitely.
Now, my story is really interesting. And what I mean by that is my parents were educators. In fact, my father taught at Roosevelt High School. Roosevelt High School from his former students were Eddie Murphy, Charlie Murphy, Public Enemy.
Hold on. First tech of the night. Y'all, Ayatollah Beats. You know what I got to do the first tech of the night, baby. Hold on. Your dad taught all of these famous people that came out of the school?
My dad was a math teacher.
Wow.
And by the way, Roosevelt High School is the same high school that Dr. J went to.
Yes.
Yeah. So, there's a connection there. And it's really interesting in my case. And I'll tell you why. My parents didn't want me to go to Uniondale High School, where I'm from. I'm from Uniondale High School. I'm not sure. Have you had Steve Rivers on here?
Yes, I had Steve Rivers on. See?
Steve Rivers is from Uniondale. We're from the same town.
Yeah.
All right. Gary McLean's from Uniondale.
I had Gary McLean on the show.
I know you had on the show. I'm saying, people don't give us credit, but we had some ball players come out of Uniondale. I'm just naming a couple. So my parents wanted me to go to private school for academics. So that summer, I went to basketball camp at Lehigh. I was already in school, and I went to basketball camp at Lehigh, and they put me with my age group. So they put me in my age group. They took one look at me and said, no, you need to move up. So I moved up to the next level. I was in the layup line. And of course, like all ball players, I could make a layup left hand or right hand, whatever. I made a left hand layup. They pulled me to the side and said, no, you don't belong here. You need to go up.
All right, hold on. Before you speed through your career, we're going to take this one step at a time, brother, because I like to treat my legends right.
Okay.
And everybody who comes on the show, I treat them right. But, look, Mike, you deserve your flowers, brother. You put in a lot of work, and you helped a lot of kids. You helped a lot of college students, and you've done a lot of amazing things. So I want to take this slow. Salute to my guy, Gene Smith in the building. Salute to Ayatollah Beats, Tina Mills, KP Spiro, both films. Appreciate you. Thank you. We're going to get into this. Hey, Mike, who introduced you to the game?
You're going to laugh. My boy, Keith Ellis, known as Shabazz.
Wow.
He lived down the block from me. Him and Daryl Blackman. They lived down the block and around the corner from me. And I was athletic at a young age, but I didn't have any older brothers. So they took me and signed me up for basketball at the, PBC, and Keith was my mentor. Keith actually played for out of Brooklyn. God, I'm drawing a blank, but I'm talking about out of Brooklyn, the famous coach.
Now, okay. Did he go? There's a few. So you got Ray Haskins, who who coached at Alexander Hamilton. But if you're talking about down in North Carolina, down in Longburg, that's Gil Reynolds.
Gil Reynolds. So
Gil Reynolds. There you go.
That was my first exposure to basketball.
Got you.
All right. So I played all that. I was athletic. And I guess the thing that helped me was because I was tall for my age, I always end up playing with the older kids. But the advantage I had was the older kids were friendly to me. Hey, Mike, do this. Hey, Mike, you need to work on this. Hey, Mike. So it wasn't like they were competing against me. It was more like they said, hey, this kid has some skills. I'm gonna help him out, which I'm thankful to this day. I mean, I spoke to Shabazz just last week and thanked him again for everything he did for me.
Wow.
Shabazz was the one that told me. Shabazz was the one who told me. He said, "Mike, you got to use that left hand, man. You got to use that left hand." And I'm like, "Okay." I mean, I'm jumping ahead, but by the time I got to Lou High, I would shoot a turnaround jump shot, left hand or right hand. Didn't matter. Whatever hand I caught it with, I'd shoot. Didn't think twice about it. I mean, I worked hard on my game at a very young age.
The only person I seen do that was Lloyd Daniels. Like, to shoot with both hands, like, that's not an easy thing to do. We all know as ball players, like, unless you're born ambidextrous or you really, really worked on it, guys can do the left hand layup, maybe a jump hook, but not shooting with both hands. That's crazy.
Again, I thank Shabazz. I thank the Rev, but my left hand, I had no problem with my left hand. I mean, I would drive hard to the baseline on the right side and lean back and shoot with my left hand. And guys are playing me on my right shoulder, and I'm shooting from the left shoulder.
Salute to Big Rev and Gizmo. For sure. Botton Films. Thank you. I said both films. Botton Films. Appreciate you. Thank you, man. So who was the best player in the neighborhood that you kind of wanted to be like? Was it those two guys who you was trying to emulate?
Shabazz was 2 years older than me. And the other one that just had a major impact on me, believe it or not, his name was Chucky Davis. Chucky if Shabazz was 2 years older than me, Chucky was 3 years older than me. And Chucky was a little point guard, little chubby point guard, crazy handles, crazy court vision. I mean, guy was throwing passes and doing things with the basketball I had never seen before. And those guys had an effect on me. I mean, and those also the same guys as I was getting, as I got taller, come play with us, come run with us. A lot of times they would tell me what to do. Sometimes some guys will laugh, Mike, don't shoot. You just dribble the ball past me, but you ain't here to shoot. I'm like, okay. I was just happy to be on the court with the older guys.
Right. So
I would rebound, pass the ball. I'd do all the other things. I couldn't shoot. That's okay, though. I learned from those guys. I really did.
And it was grooming you, right? A lot of, back in those days, we didn't have the trainers. If we made it to a team and we got a coach to teach us, we were lucky. It was the neighborhood guys that made sure our games was tight. First, we had to work. The process was we had to work to get on the court, right?
Yep.
You had to work to get on the court.
Yes, sir.
Then you had to make sure that you could win to stay on the court.
Oh, no question.
Right? And then once you reach that level to where if you lost, they still gonna pick you.
Or you reach the level where I did, where I just
and you never lose. There you go. There you go. And that's the next level. That's the elite level when you just beating everybody who come on the court. So there was a process that we all had to go through.
I went through that process, and as you said, I got all these stories, but I got to tell the story. It's a funny story.
Go ahead.
I'm in Tennessee State. Me and my roommate, we both transferred from Florida. We're playing 2-on-2. I must have been in there for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Ran out of gas. Still on the court. So we're playing, and two ex-football players. They both were in the pros. They were in the gym, and they had necks. So we start playing, and the score was something like 15-1 or 2. And now their mouths come, oh, I heard the guy from New York could play. You ain't no good. You know what they really said? You ain't no good.
Yeah.
I looked at my roommate. I said, yo, give me the ball. This final score was 21-15. I slapped him on the butt, told him, get out of the gym. I said to him, I don't come on the football field and talk noise to you. Don't you dare come on the basketball court and talk noise to me. Get out. And then after they left, the next guy's head up, me and my roommate quit.
Wow.
I said, I'm done.
That's
But
it. Give him a butt whipping and let him go.
I had to defend my reputation. Had they shut their mouth and left me alone, they would have won that game and probably talked about me afterwards. I wasn't no good. They'd have won that game and I went about my business. But I had to spank them. I had to let them know who was the boss.
Wow. Your guy Al Robbins, he said he went to Lehigh with you.
Yes, Skip.
He just want to say hello. Definitely.
Yeah, that's my boy Skip.
Appreciate that. That. So now let's get into the process where, you was in middle school and they had to move you up, right? Like, what was that process like? Because now you done got up with Big Rev and Gizmo. They done got your game ready, prepared for this level.
I didn't finish. Here's the deal. They moved me up to the highest level. I'm going to 10th grade. We're scrimmaging. And after the scrimmage, coach comes up to me and goes, where do you go to high school? And I said, I go to school here. He goes, no, I'm saying, where do you go to high school? I said, I go to school here. My parents enrolled me here. He goes, oh, have you met the Rev? I go, who's the Rev? You have to understand, I didn't know anything about Lutheran's basketball tradition.
Got you.
I didn't really know. I went to basketball camp there because my parents sent me. And by the way, I went to basketball camp all summer, every year. So I meet the Rev, and Rev says to me, Mike, we have a scrimmage tonight, summer league. Can you play? Can you make it? I said, yeah. He said, okay. So they brought me, I stayed at camp that night and played in the scrimmage. I was on the JV. And they were talking about some kid on the other team. He could do this and do that. And I believe I dunked on him and did some other things. And after the scrimmage, the Rev walked over to me and said, all right, you're on varsity now. And so I literally in one day went from playing 9th grade basketball to being a varsity player at Lehigh. And that same night, Wayne walked into the gym and McDuffin walked in. I had never been on the court with anybody that size, that big, that athletic. I was in awe. I was like, whoa, I'm going to play with this guy. And the funny thing about it was at my middle school, I was a center, 6'3". Most kids at that height, 9th grade, I was a 6'3" center. Even though I always know how to dribble and all that, they had me at center. Rev looked at me and said, you're not a center. Don't get out of there. That's Wayne's territory. Get out. You don't belong down there. And that's when I started facing the basket. And for me, the rest was history.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you put your hands up to the screen again? Jesus. Look, you already, again, to put it up. So let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Just put one up. Just put one up. Put it up to where we can see your thumb. Do y'all see the way his thumb is away from the rest?
That's how you palm a basketball. It's the thumb.
Already know. So I see it.
It's
If
got
you're
a hook
ball player,
underneath.
There
I
you
can palm it with 2 fingers.
Woo!
I also can pick it up off the dribble. And
I told her, you already know. You're going to blow that whistle. That is crazy. Listen, that is crazy. My thumb don't go that way. My hands are not that big. I had a teammate, Ron Omer, who could do the same thing. His hands were huge, and he could pick the ball up with 2 fingers.
And Pooh, now I'm gonna give away a little secret. You ready for this?
Yes.
These are muscles in between your fingers. I used to stretch my hands.
Oh.
I used to stretch them to get them to hook underneath like that. So I would stretch I literally would sit in class and put my hands on the desk and I would stretch my fingers. That's why I did that.
That is crazy.
My whole youth was all towards basketball. That was my passion. That was my love.
That is amazing. Hey, he just dropped the secret For you young guys and girls who watching this or going to watch this later on, he just dropped a jewel on you. It's one to grow on. Definitely one to grow on.
Yeah.
So how was your transition into, we talked about you meeting the future, well, the stars who were starting on the team then, but how was your transition onto the team, and how did they kind of bring you along? Did they kind of help you along as you was trying to get your groove on the team?
No question. Mike McDuffin and Winston Nicholas and I were all 10th graders together. Mike McDuffin was my first vision and view of a big guard. And I used to look at Mike and say, wow, I could be just like him. So Mike was my inspiration. Mike was like, wow, I could do what he's doing. I could be like him. The other thing about it too was all the guys on the team were friendly and helped me. They all were nice to me. I mean, I'm not saying nice, but they all pushed me. They all wanted me to get better. We struggled that year. We struggled, but the guys on the team all wanted me to get better. They all pushed me. This interesting thing is, which a lot of people don't know, by the middle of the season, my sophomore year, because of academics, Wayne and McDuff and Winston weren't on the team anymore. So here's where it becomes interesting. The Rev went to a 5-guard offense, and basically he did a 4 corners, and he put me in the middle. And so you got this skinny little 6'3", 160-pound soaking wet kid, but the Rev, I've never had a problem scoring. Never had a problem scoring. A lot of guys didn't think I was a scorer because I really had, scoring was easy. Most guys don't realize this. Scoring is really easy. So because of the Rev and because of what I learned at Lou High, winning became more important than scoring. And so I made a transition, and this is from the Rev. Rev used to always say, your most talented ball players, he said, when you're really talented, not only do you have to take care of yourself, but you have to take care of your teammates that are less talented than you. And that always stuck with me. So I always viewed my teammates as brothers, big brothers, little brothers, but brothers. And I always wanted to make my brothers better, and I always wanted to win. That was my ultimate goal, was to win.
But that's how you become a great player, right? The wins, we know guys average 30 and 40, but they was on losing teams.
Yep.
And that, not to take anything away from them, but did you win? What did you win? And
if you're putting up 25
shots, on the next level.
If you're putting up 25 shots a game for any ball player, you're going to average double. You're going to average 20 points. I don't care how average you are. But the key is, and this is my problem with AAU ball right now. The key is, are you going to win? And at the end of the day, college coaches come in to recruit winners. All right. They don't come in and recruit people that can score 40 points a game, because they say, on my team, I'm not going to need you to score 40. You're going to tear my team apart. You going for 40.
Definitely.
I need somebody that has a high basketball IQ and understands what it takes to win ball games. And that's why so many Lou High players, we were always recruited because of that. When I got to college, I was ready to start. Starting was, I was not intimidated, not fearful at all, because of everything I had gone through in high school. Now,
is Mike McDuffie, was he the same guy who played that August Martin?
Yep, that's him.
There you go. What up, Derek Hawkins? D. Hawkins in the building. What up? Salute.
What happened was, after our sophomore year, and this is interesting, after our sophomore year, Mike transferred to August Martin. And believe it or not, the following year, we finished the season number 2 in the country. And all the players except for Wayne were from Long Island, different crew. We finished number 2. I lovingly tell people I was the 4th option on that team. And I have no shame in telling you that's how talented we were. I was the 4th option. Worked my butt off, played hard, but no question, ball should have went to Wayne first. No question about it. The guy was just awesome. I mean, I've seen him dominate other All-Americans. I've seen Wayne do things that I haven't seen high school centers do until maybe the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, he was doing things that other people just weren't doing.
Now, what year was it for you when you guys was named #1 in the nation by Street and Smith, which was the most respected national publication in the nation?
That was my sophomore year with Wayne, Kevin Calloway, Mike McDuffin, Winston Nicholas, and me. My junior year, we finished the season #2. We didn't start out #1 and #2, but we finished the season #2. We just moved up the ranks because we beat everybody, pounded everybody.
Now, you guys have such a great team. Why did McDuffie leave? Did he leave because of the ineligibility?
No, I'm not trying to get into Mike's business, but there was friction, not between Mike and our coach, between Mike and some of the administrators on the campus.
Got you.
I'll put it that way.
That says enough. That definitely says enough.
Yeah,
for sure. We got Junior Bridgenat, one of your players, that Coach Mike, the legend.
Junior Brignett, I coached him. Great athlete, all-state in football, basketball, and baseball. Drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. After playing pro baseball, went to Berkeley, got his degree, and played college football. Receiver for Aaron Rodgers. That's my Junior Brignett.
Salute to you, King.
And by the way, I sent him the 5-star. I sent him and 3 other players the 5-star.
Wow.
Yes, I did. They tore it up. In fact, one of my players, Garfinkel, pulled him to the side and apologized to him and said, "I can't put you on the all-star team, even though you deserve it."
Mm.
I mean, that's how good they, I mean, and they got teased. West Coast boys, y'all must be soft. They took after me. There wasn't nothing soft about them.
I got you. I'm gonna give the West Coast guys some love for you on tonight, because a lot of them be trying to hate on New York City, but I get it. I get it. My guys got a lot of dudes in the league right now, so you got to respect it.
The Gauchos called me up for my point guard to have him come out to New York and run this squad. Coach said to me, he said, "I need somebody that can run my squad." And he said, "Your guy knows how to run a squad." I said, "Yeah, I taught him how to run a team."
Wow.
And they brought him out there, and they won the championship. Got a trophy, then flew him on back home to L.A.
Derek Hawker said Winston Nicholas, too. He played in the 1978 team that won the PSCL. Said Lou Ha was a beast. Yeah. And they still are to this day.
Winston transferred after our sophomore year. Winston transferred to Cardozo. In fact, Ron, he was on the team with Ron. And
DeClario.
Yep. And my other teammate at Florida was Tony Matthews, who was also at Cardozo with them.
So what was happening was, these great players was leaving and opening up the space for you.
Kind of, sort of,
inadvertently. I don't think they were doing it right. They weren't doing it on purpose.
We were all friends. You know, Winston's passed away, rest in peace. But we were all friends. Definitely friendly. There was no animosity. In fact, Winston was the one who took me over to Riverside Church to try out for Riverside Church, which is a whole other story. But Winston's the one who took me over there. You know, we were friends. I consider them friends. Like I said, I consider all my teammates brothers. Winston was a friend. Mike McDuffin's still a friend. Wayne's a friend. Kevin Calloway's a friend. I talked to him.
That's good. And look, they are all invited to come on the show. definitely all invited to come on the show. Definitely legendary. Tina Mills said that's a fact. And we live in the West Coast. My grandson played for Coba Mamba team. Salute, salute, salute. That's dope. So now, you know, you're definitely coming into your own, and you start to do some great things.
Yeah.
But first, you had to learn from Wayne McCoy, right? You had to learn, you watching him be a star, and I'm guess you're watching him in preparation for yourself to be on that level.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go back a little bit.
Okay.
I was truly blessed with the Rev. I didn't realize how blessed I was with the Rev until after I left his presence and was around other coaches and actually coaching myself and watching some other coaches with my son. I didn't realize how fortunate I was. And the one thing I'll say, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. By the time I got to college, I would train myself. I do my own conditioning. I would go to gym. Everything I did in college and even in the pros was what I had learned in high school. I mean, the man, and I'm, lovingly put, the man made me. My skill set was I was willing to put in the work. And I was fortunate enough that I had somebody that showed me what to do. So when I put in the work with him showing me what to do is what took my game to another level.
Wow.
Had I stayed at my public high school, I'd have been a 6'5" center. By going to Lou High, I was a 6'5" wingman.
That's funny that you say that because me attending Lincoln at 5'8" and making the team as a freshman, that next year I grew to 6'4", and my coach could have shoved me down low, but he didn't. I'm so thankful that he didn't.
Yeah.
Right. And same for you, right? You get to play this position, and it wasn't a lot of big guards. There were a few, but it wasn't a lot of big guards during that time. So definitely, man, that salute to your coach for doing that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. For
sure. Tina said, thanks, King. Kobe Baba, Mamba. Rest in peace to the Mamba, for sure.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Definitely. So, did you get a chance to see Wayne McCoy score that 70 points?
Who do you think was giving him the ball?
Whoa. Woo! That's what I wanted to hear. How, first of all, after seeing him score so many points, was it just became fun afterwards? I know it probably was fun before, but once he passed about 50 points, you like, oh, whoa, this is getting out of hand.
I gotta explain what's going on here.
Okay, bet.
All right. As I told you, Lou High before I got there had stars. When I got there, they had stars. The Rev politely made us all share the ball. He made it. I mean, think about the team I'm telling you about. Wayne McCoy, Mike McDuffin, both All-Americans, Winston Nicholas, Kevin Calloway, all D1 players, and then a little old me. The Rev made us share the ball. He had to, because any one of us, not me at that age, but any of those four could have went off any night for 20, 30 points easily. So what Rev did was he would say, look, and Wayne wasn't the first one he did this with. He said, look, I made you guys share the ball. Tonight is Wayne's night. Tonight, Wayne gets to go off. Wayne shoots. And in fact, if you don't give Wayne the ball to shoot, you're going to come out. It's Wayne's choice. He's going to shoot whenever he wants, wherever he wants. And Wayne went off. So the following year, it was my turn. Same thing. He made me share the ball. There were times when I was early in the season and even this year before, I would have in a scrimmage 25 points in the first quarter, and Rev would sit me down. Mike, all you're doing is shooting. You're not rebounding. You're not setting any picks. You're not passing the ball. You're not helping your brothers. He goes, sit with me. That's not how we play ball here. I'm like, Rev, I might have 50 tonight. Good. Sit down with me, Mike. So that was instilled in all of us. So by the time Wayne was a senior, it was almost like Rev said, I'm going to take the cuffs off. Go for it. Then my year came, he said, Mike, cuffs are off, go for it. And my teammates, and this is the beauty of why I call them brothers, my teammates turned down shots to give me the ball to shoot. So my teammates helped me get to those 76 points. So I always say, yeah, I did it, but it was a team effort. And I thank them for it all the time.
Yo, hold on, Mike.
That's a whistle. That's a whistle.
Mike, you can get all the passes in the world, but if you don't make those shots, now I get it.
That's true.
I get it, but you gotta make those shots. And I'm telling you, the most I've ever had in a game was 54 points. You know how hard it was to score 54? You had 76.
Well, you know,
man?
now I'm going to confess,
That's hard.
I didn't play any defense. I was too tired. I didn't rebound. All I did was jump shots and dunks.
Yeah, you know how hard we're ball players.
Yeah.
Right? All my ball players that's in the chat right now, put some thumbs up or some fire emojis in the chat. That is very hard. Gene Smith, we got one of the best defensive players in America's history. He would tell you, if somebody scored 76 points and he had to guard them, he was in for a long night.
Yeah.
Mike, you making it sound like this is regular. This is not regular. 2 texts on you, fam. You're making it sound regular. That is not regular. 76 points is amazing. I remember when I first discovered you, because guys would talk about you, and they would put in the chat, yo, he scored like 7. And I'm looking and checking out, and the headlines, and I'm sitting there going, and the Newsday newspaper, I'm looking like, holy, he scored 76 points.
But, Pooh, I'm most proud of the fact I stuffed the stat sheet. And with the great, great Long Island Lutheran history, only one player has ever led the team in scoring, rebounding, and assists in the same season, and that'd be me.
Wow.
I'm proud of that. I'm really, really, to me, that's bigger than the points, because basketball's a team game. Those were my brothers. All my my teammates are my brothers. I don't have any older brothers. I don't have any brothers.
Y'all hear Professor Mike, right? Y'all hear Professor Mike, right? This is Professor Mike. Now, I'm not talking about you, not talking about your teammates, but you're downplaying the fact that you scored 76 points. And Derek Hawkins just put it up there. No 3-pointers. Let's blow another tech on them. You know how hard it's to score 76 points with 3-pointers. There was no 3-pointers back then, fam.
I'm gonna add one other thing. You ready for this? The Rev took me out with 3 minutes to go in the game. And I said, Rev, I could have hit 100. You should have left me in. He said, no, 76 is enough.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. He said, short of him by 5. Yo, that is crazy, man. That is amazing.
Yep.
Who is this? Black God the Moon. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the show. I hope you join the show. Hope you join the show. For sure, for sure. So, now you're getting a lot of attention now, right? You're getting a lot of attention.
But my attention, believe it or not, came in my junior year.
Oh, we're not finished yet. I didn't even get there yet, because I want to know, you getting all this light. Did you guys come to the city and play?
When I was in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Rev would put the best teams on the schedule. So my sophomore year, we lost to Lafayette. Who else did we play with? Lafayette, Our Savior Lutheran, Powell Memorial. Palatine had Charlie Brown, the big 6'10" kid. Larry Petty was over there. God, why am I forgetting where Larry Petty was at? It's just on the tip. I just said it. But the big center Larry Petty was there. Played against Big Jeff Rulin in high school.
Wow, legendary.
You name it. We went down to D.C., played against DeMatha, Hawkeye Whitney and that crew. We went down to Texas, played in Texas. Played up in Canada, played against Leo Routens up in Canada.
Woo, Leo Routens. People forget. You hear all these names just in New York alone. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the Rev always said the only way we're going to be the best is we got to play the best.
Right.
So we played the best. If you had a top team, the Rev was on the phone trying to get something scheduled where we could play you. We were supposed to come out here to Los Angeles and play against Vermin Day. And that was right after David Greenwood and the little guard had left. But we were supposed to play them. Who else? We were supposed to play somebody else. I can't remember. But that was the Rev. And a lot of schools didn't want to play us. There were 76 kids in my graduating class.
Mm.
That's how small we were. So none of the big schools wanted to play us because they knew we'd womp on them. And the smaller schools definitely didn't want to play us because they couldn't handle us. So we were kind of like in no man's land for a long time. In fact, I never played in the state tournament because they wouldn't let us in because they wanted to put us with the small 1A. And Rev was like, no, I want to be with the 4As. I want to be with the big boys. And they said no. So
well, y'all were with the big boys last year, and y'all won a state championship.
Oh, yeah,
boys and girls.
Yeah. I remember when the Coach Buck said, should we move up? And I'm like, I know what the Rev would say. The Rev say, play the best, the biggest, the best you can find. So that was my comment to Coach Buck. I was like, get the best, biggest, best, and play them all. So that's how we're going to get to number one again. I'm so proud of them. I'm really proud of them in my high school.
Definitely. Your Instagram is Luha.
Luha 34. That was me.
There you go. You sent me the video of your games, and I'm looking at this jump shot, man. That pull up was just like you were a mid-range killer. And of course, that was the game back then. No one was shooting from very long range back then. You was from the foul line in, or maybe a corner shot every now and again.
Yep.
When you was developing your game, was it at a point where you was picking the spots where you knew you wanted to score at?
Yes and no.
Okay.
What I say by that is, and again, I got to say what I say. The Rev had us learn how to play all positions. So the Rev would make a comment like, I want to have the ability to have Wayne bring the ball down court as a point guard and post my point guard up, have Wayne feeding the ball, and my point guard go score because he has an advantage in the post against a shorter guy. So I learned how to be a wing. I learned how to be a low post player. In practice, I would do dribbling drills, and I'm going to say a name that some people on here might know, some won't, but I used to do dribbling drills against the second best defensive point guard I ever seen, and that was Steve Brawley, Satch. The only reason I say that is because Gene is the best.
Facts.
Satch was right behind him. So I'm in practice going against a 6'1", 6-foot guard who's literally taking the ball from me every chance he gets. But what it did was it made me better. So now I'm going to say this. If Gene's guarding me, I'm not dribbling the ball on court. I'm passing it up. Anybody else? I got no problem bringing the ball on court against you or you and somebody else. Never fazed us. And I learned all this in high school. It was crazy. I learned how to split a double team in high school. I learned how to dribble in high school. I learned the game in high school. That's why I learned the game.
Wow. And most guys back then who had really huge hands, they didn't have the handles like that, right? Dr. J, he could dribble just enough, but his handle wasn't that. He was just athletic, and he could get past you and speed past you. And it took guys like Michael Jordan to kind of figure out how to do it. For you to do it at that age early on, that's incredible.
One of the things they did, I disagreed with it, and I disagree with it even more now, but I wanted to play, is at Florida, they moved me to point. The point guard who should have been there is on this call right now. It should have been he and I in the backcourt. I don't know why the coach moved me to. Well, I know why the coach moved me to point. He wanted the two guard to be on the team to start, and he wanted another guy to start. So he moved me to point.
Politics of college basketball. The politics of college basketball, though. That's what really kicks it.
Don't even get me going there. So let's go back to high school.
Yes. And we gonna get there, fortunately, right? But let's talk about like your recruitment, right? Before you even get to Florida, right? What was your recruitment like? What was those letters like that was coming in?
Now, see, I got to go back. Here's the deal. I'm a junior. Wayne McCoy is a senior. Every major Division I college coach in the country passed through my high school to see Wayne play. And it so happened that when they came through to see Wayne play, they would see me. And that's when they started noticing me. Um, a lot of teams, like when I was in 11th grade that year, Wayne's senior year, I'm sorry, I got to pick on Albert. We were playing Fort Hamilton, and the Rev said, Mike, they're going to put Albert on you. They won't put him on Wayne, and they're not going to put him on Cheslock. Cheslock's too big. So we're going to put him on you. And they put him on me, and Rev said, Mike, be a scorer. So, okay.
Hold on. I mean to cut you off.
No.
Was this the time when he was the #1 player in the country?
It was between him and Wayne.
Wow.
So I came down court with Albert on me and turned the corner and gave it to him.
Hold on. Time out. We're gonna pause on that one, but what the, you dunked on him?
Gave it to him.
Which hand?
Left.
Now, someone mentioned that. I'm gonna go up on the chat. They said that's what you did. You was a left-hand dunker. You would dunk on people with your left hand.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned that.
Yep.
Definitely. I remember seeing that in the chat.
Yep.
Facts. So you would give it to guys, you right-handed guy, and you switch it up on the left hand and dunk right in their face. Crazy. That's crazy.
He wasn't the only one. and with all due respect,
right?
You know, all due respect, Albert was a baller. Albert could play. So I'm not. It's not me saying. You know, all due respect for Albert. You know,
yeah.
No
1977. 1977. You know, in all the publications.
Yep.
You missed the tech. I told her for sure. He was definitely the #1 recruit in the country.
No question.
According to most publications.
Yep.
And now you're gonna make me do my research to go back just so I can see Wayne McCoy and all the stuff that he was doing. So I'm definitely gonna do my due diligence on that.
Yes, sir.
So now
that's when the college coaches started seeing me. I mean, they started seeing me in those games. Like I said, they came to see Wayne. David Thompson came to see Wayne recruiting for NC State. You know, David Thompson. So we're in the gym scrimmage, and at the
hold on, time out.
All right.
Yo, fam, you're not gonna just be breezing past these names like this. David Thompson was Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan. Let's make that fact, right? You had David Thompson and Dr. J. They was all considered some of the greatest athletes in NBA history.
David Thompson had the 40-inch vertical.
There you go.
40-inch. I mean, so
hold on. I'm gonna give you the floor. Yeah. And I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna sit back and listen, y'all. Y'all sit back and listen to this amazing story.
Well, no, it's just that after the scrimmage, David Thompson walked up to me and said, "Put your hands up." So I put my hand up. He goes, "Wow, look at the size of your hands, man. If I had your hands, man, I'd be dunking on everybody." And I was like, "You already do dunk on everybody." And he actually chuckled. And I said, "Cool, thank you, man." But that's how I met David Thompson. The thing I should, and anybody like Skip, anybody who went to Lou High with me knows this. And this is what really worked with us. We had pros, college All-Americans, college ball players that would come up to Lou High every Tuesday and Thursday night during the off season and summer and play. So this started when I was in 10th grade for me. I'm in 10th grade playing against Billy Chamberlain, All-American, Olympian, pro basketball player. I'm in the gym playing against guys who were legendary in their time. And they're talking to me, they're working with me. And the funny thing about it was, whatever they would do to me, I would take it back to Smith Street Park in Uniondale and do it to those guys. And that's how I would perfect my stuff. It was just phenomenal how things worked out for me in that respect.
That's crazy, brother. I'm telling y'all, I'm a basketball head for real. So when I saw his hands, and mind you, this the first time seeing each other. So I never got to Mike and got my hands stretched out. I saw it. So I know if I noticed it, and then he's telling y'all that David Thompson noticed it. Real ball players know. And you know, man, we don't want to get caught under the rim with that guy because he's going to flush it on us.
Well, you know, the other thing too, Pooh, is that with these hands and the ability to pick it up off the dribble, it gave me an extra step in terms of quickness
Mm.
because I could pick up the ball and I could reach around you and lay it. So, I'd hold the ball on one hand away from me and you'd be on this side of my body. You couldn't get to the ball. You just couldn't get to it. And that was my advantage. So I would lean that shoulder into you, take it off put it in the other hand and go for my layup or dunk or whatever the case may be.
Definitely Darryl Griffin.
Oh, yeah. I got a Darryl Griffin story.
I want to hear this. Dr. Duncanstein himself. Smooth too. Man, oh man, he was smooth.
Griff, by the way, Griff was at Louisville with homeboy Scooter McCrae and Rodney.
Yep.
All right. Just wanted to mention that.
The McCrae brothers, New York greats.
Yes.
Facts.
Yes. Scooter and I were in the Seamco All-Star game together, All-American game. So Griff had just got drafted and he was down in Gainesville buying property. And he came by the gym around 3:00 when we were playing pickup. So he walks in the gym and he asks who has next. And the guy who has next says, I don't have a spot for you. So immediately we go over and say, do you know who that is, dude? Oh, my bad. So he kicks somebody off and puts him down. So Griff is 6'3". I'm legitimate 6'5.5". At the time, I wasn't Griff, 38-inch vertical, long arms. So I'm going, okay, I'm going to guard Griff. I'm going to time this. I'm going to catch his jumper. Yeah, that's that. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I'm accepting the challenge. So Griff goes up for a jump shot. I time it. I go up. I stop, and he keeps going.
Hey.
Bang! I was like, yeah, okay. Now, in my own defense, he couldn't stay with me. See, guys didn't understand. At 6'5", I had no problem with somebody 6'3". I don't care how high he jumped. Just never was an issue. And it was funny because a lot of little guards would say, all he does is beat us up. And I'm going, it's my advantage. Why wouldn't I do it? My advantage is not speed and quickness over you. My advantage is my size. Now, you put somebody my size, a bigger on me, my advantage is going to be speed and quickness. So I was a mismatch problem. So I didn't have a problem with Griff. I couldn't stop him, but he couldn't stop me either. And yeah, I dunked on him.
Which hand?
Either the left or with two.
Hey, listen, my guy Ayatollah said, another one bites the left hand. Okay, for sure. Let's move into the recruiting phase now, because I know the letters are pouring in right now.
Yeah, they're coming in left and right.
And you're getting more letters than probably your parents are getting bills, because
man, I had a garbage bag, a big leaf garbage bag full with letters. I got letters from every school, from the East Coast all the way. I got letters from UCLA. I was heavily recruited. Heavily recruited.
What was it like to have a legendary Dean Smith come to your home, try to recruit you?
Dean didn't come to my home. He's the only one that didn't come to my home. I went down to North Carolina.
Oh, you went down. Okay.
I went down to North Carolina on my visit. At the time, Phil Ford was a senior.
Yes.
Dudley Bradley, was Al Wood. So I took my visit down there. I hate to tell the story, but I have to. After I took my visit, I gave Dean a verbal commitment. And Dean said to me, I can't accept it right now. And I was like, what? He said, we need a point guard. And I've got 2 point guards ahead of you. And I'm not going to say their names. It wasn't Jimmy Black. Jimmy Black was after me. I knew Black.
Bronx, New York, definitely.
Chris Brush from Long Island. So I knew that crew, but this was before them. I was early in the season. I took my visit before the season even started. That's how early I took my visit. So I knew who the guards were, and I was like, I'm better than them. I can't believe that you would want them over me. And so my little ego, which it was, said, the heck with this, then I'm going to go to Florida. And so, by the way, it wasn't like I settled. I liked Florida too. But North Carolina was more of the style of ball and what I had experienced in high school. Dean share the ball, pass the ball.
You're going to have the handcuffs on until he say, okay.
Yeah, but see, I didn't mind handcuffs because I never saw him as handcuffs. I always saw him as who do we need to score to win the ball game? Who needs how are we going to win? So if, I might have disagreed with the coach saying that, let's get Pooh the ball. But if that's what the coach said, I was going to do it, even though I might disagree. I was a coachable kid. So that's when I gave my verbal commitment to, I said, the heck with that, then I'm going to Florida. And see, the thing about Florida was, you're going to laugh, the head coach of Florida came from North Carolina. The assistant coach that my high school coach replaced came from North Carolina. So there was always that connection. And I'm not saying I was caught in the middle. Maybe I was, but there was that back and forth. And so by the time that those two guards committed to other schools, I already had committed to Florida. And so they backed up off me.
Now, was it the fact that your head coach, your high school head coach, was accepted the assistant coach's job that made the decision a little easier for you? He
got the job after me. In fact, he would say that I was the reason he got the job. I hope not, but that's what he'd say. What happened was the coach.
Fact. That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Oh yeah, yeah,
yes.
But the coach at the time at Florida name was Dick Grubar. He was assistant coach.
Okay.
So when Grubar met me, Grubar said a couple of things. One, he said, Mike, if you were here tonight, you'd start. Oh, okay. I like the sound of that. Grubar also said to me, he said, Mike, I believe I can make you a pro. You come here, I can make you a pro. At that point, I was never thinking about being a pro. I was just thinking about, I want to go to college. I just want a chance to play as a freshman. That was my thought process. Politely put, I didn't realize how good I was. I really didn't realize how good I was. So I said, worst could worst, I just want to go someplace where I can play. So Grubar said, I'll bring you in. Now, one of the guys on this call is Antonio Lyons. Antonio Lyons is from Florida, averaged something like 30 points a game his senior year. Grubar approached him in the playoffs and said to him, I got Reggie Hanner at center, Reggie, and I got this guard coming down from New York that can just flat out score basketball. I want you to run my ball club and get them the ball. If you're willing to do that, I'm going to sign you. I don't need you scoring 30 points a game. And he said, not a problem, and he signed. He and I were supposed to be the starting backcourt. Between that time and by May, Grubar decided to retire. And when Grubar retired and went back to North Carolina is when my high school coach got the job. All right. My high school coach wasn't the head coach. Coach Lotz was the head coach. And Coach Lotz was the one who decided to move me to point and put Nino on the bench. I don't know why. That's another story. Put Nino on the bench, and he kept the two guard at the spot who just flat out wasn't that good. I mean, that's the best way to put it. I mean, no offense, that was my spot. But they had the thing about, if our seniors are good, we're going to start our seniors. Seniors, they start. So they moved me to point to start him. Yeah. Again, I'm not here to sling mud at anybody. I'll just say this.
That's being very honest.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the guy couldn't stay in front of me, couldn't guard me, couldn't stay in front of me, couldn't play defense. He was a spot up shooter. Call it what it is. It is what it is.
The legendary Kenny Anderson didn't start his freshman year in high school, even though he was the top freshman in the country, because the legendary coach, and may he rest in peace, Jack Curran, wanted to play as seniors.
Yeah.
That's, a lot of coaches are like that. What I'm trying to say.
The Rev had the same thing. Rev was like, if Rev was like this, I'm going to give the starting spot to my best players to have the best team. He said, now, if an underclassman and a senior are kind of the same, I'm going to give the nod to the senior because he's on his way out. But if the underclassman is better, again, at Lehigh, think about this. My sophomore year, we started 3 sophomores, 1 junior and 1 senior, 3 sophomores. So how many other schools are starting 3 sophomores that are nationally ranked in the top, top 1, top 2, whatever the case may be? That was the Rev. The Rev was the kind of coach that you earned your time in practice. And that was me. I practiced harder than probably I played in games. That's how I got better. Practice is where I got better. Guys would get upset with me because I came to practice. I never missed practice, never missed 1 practice in my life. And I went hard every practice. You literally, and some guys didn't like that. I'm like, I go hard. I'm, either keep up or get out the way, but that's how I go. Got into a lot of fights because of it too.
Hey, a lot of battles on those basketball courts. People just think it happens in football. It's a lot. Yeah. Now, your first 3 years at Florida, right? Let's just walk me through the first 3 years and then tell me what was the breaking point of why you wanted to transfer.
My first 2 years, I got down to Florida. We were talented. But I'm speaking the truth. No senior leadership, none. In fact, one of the seniors was probably one of the biggest catalysts in terms of tearing the team apart. I remember one time he said, look, Milligan won't give me the ball. And it was funny because the Rev heard him say that, and the Rev said, the reason why he won't give you the ball is because you don't know what to do with it. And I know that because I taught him. That needs a whistle.
No, I came back. Trust me. Let me tell you, I've heard this, and I've done it at times, right? Especially when you're not a guy who works hard and do what you need to do. I really don't trust you.
Well, we're coming down on a 3-on-2 fast break, and I'm in the middle. I got my shooter on the right side who can't dribble, spot up shooter. I got another guy on the left who can shoot, score, and all that. So I'm coming down court reading defense. If I gave him the ball who couldn't dribble and he lost it, the Rev would have took me out the game. Rev would have said, that's your turnover. You know he can't dribble.
That's right.
So I would come down court and I'd look. If he was spotted up, I'd give him the ball and open. If not, either I was trying to hit that gap and pull his man to me to kick it to him, or hit that gap and have the other guy's man come to me and kick it to him. If not, I would go one-on-one. But that's what I would do. And I would look, and you'll probably appreciate this, Pooh. At 6'5", I was a rebounding guard. I would snatch the rebound, defensive rebound, and I'd take off on the fast break by myself. And after a while, the ref stood there and said, go with him. He'll pass you the ball.
That's right.
And so what happened was I turned Florida from a walk-up team to when I snatched the rebound, they knew I was going. And come with me, I'd pass you the ball. And if I could, I'd go one-on-one or try and score. But if not, then I'd pull it back out. But I was a rebounding guard. I mean, I always have. I had no problem hitting the glass. I had no problem going inside. In fact, I used to like going inside with the big fellas.
Yo, we got John Arno in the building. He said, oh, man, yeah. Glenn, you got a great one. Dear friend on tonight. What's up, fellas? What's up,
John?
No doubt. That's my guy.
So at Florida, my freshman year, they moved me to point. A lot of dissension. The team did not do well. I think we finished in like 7th, 8th place in conference. Really horrible. My second year, they tried to move me off the point. They brought some. Again, I'm not here to sling much. I'm not going to say names, but they brought some other guards in, and they just couldn't handle the SEC.
Hold on. Time out. That's right, Ayatollah. Tech time. Listen, y'all guys know who y'all are. Y'all already know who y'all are. So I don't want to be hearing no slander in the comment section. Show love and know that, you're dealing with the great, legendary Mike Milligan from New York. So you got to eat that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to sling mud. I'm not, you know.
I'm here to sling it for you, Mike. We here to do that, especially they not from New York. So we here to sling that mud and give you your flowers at the same time. We're gonna plant that. Right.
Some of these players are from New York, though. That's why I'm like, I'm not here to sling mud.
Antonio Lyons said,
that's
the honest truth. As a rebounding guard, a beast at Florida. My roomie. Salute, Antonio.
Yeah. So, by the way, Florida ran him off. He goes to a junior college. I'm talking about Antonio Lyons. He goes to a junior college with a bad knee and leads the nation in assists. Yeah. I'm telling you,
just let players leave. Just let him players leave.
Ran him off. Didn't play him. And I said, I remember going to the head coach when they announced he wasn't coming back. I'm like, you never gave him a chance. That's the worst mistake you've made. The guy can flat out play, and you just never gave him a chance. Goes on to junior college, leads the junior college, the nation in assists. Goes on to FIT, Florida Institute of Technology, and he's on their Hall of Fame, on the wall, Hall of Fame. Salute. I think he was second in the conference in scoring and first in assists. The guy could play.
Where's he from?
He's from Florida. He's from Cocoa.
And he came to New York. See, we show you love in New York.
And guess what? He played. He came up and played in the Pro-Am after we graduated.
Nice.
He was up in New York playing in the Pro-Am.
Nice.
Yep.
So, go ahead.
So at Florida, my sophomore year, they tried to move me off point. They moved me back to point. Several of my teammates flunked out or didn't make it. Some of the recruits that they had brought in, some good recruits, didn't get into school. So we started off bad, and from bad went to worse. So halfway through the season, they fired Coach Lotz. They basically told him that at the end of the season, you're gone. He said, well, I'm not going to wait till then. I'm leaving now. So they fired Coach Lotz, and my high school coach became head coach. We won a few games, but again, you know, it was an almost impossible task. He moved me to point, and I really did my best to try and get the other guys involved, get them scoring, and try and win some ball games.
Hold on, coach. You saw that didn't work before trying to move you to the point, and he still tried to move you to the point.
Had no choice.
But I guess you're the one that he trusted, so he wanted the ball in your hand.
He had no choice. I mean, we had a couple of shooters on the team, and I knew how to get them the ball. You know, again, I knew how to dribble into a gap. I knew how to draw your man to me. And because of my size, I could draw you into a double team and then kick it to the shooters for the wide open shots. I understood how to do that. And if when I hit that gap, if you didn't come, I would turn and either pull up for a short jump shot or go away to the hole. And when I got to the hole, I would dime my big man. So that's why I ran, you know. And the other thing too, which happened, is kind of funny. At Florida, when I was running point, you couldn't press us. Couldn't press me. You couldn't send one guy. There's no way one guy could guard anybody who can handle the ball. Can't be pressured in the backcourt with one man. And if you send two, I knew how to split the double team. And if I split the double team, and all of a sudden now we got a 4-on-3. So teams stopped pressing us. The press actually helped us because we weren't that good. But I could break the press. So Sloan came in. Sloan came in the end of my sophomore year. I literally had spoke to Dave Gavitt and was on my way to transfer to Providence with Gary Williams as coach. You know, Dave Gavitt had recruited me in high school. And so I got on the phone with him, and he said, yeah, Mike, we'd love to have you. So I was like, cool. So I had talked to Gary Williams. And I was headed to Providence. Believe it or not, Sloan talked me into staying.
Now think about it. Dave Gavitt, for y'all don't know, he was the mastermind behind putting the Big East together.
Yep.
right? He
Yep.
was the mastermind behind putting the Big East together.
Before the Big East, he was the head coach at Providence.
There
and then
you
he went
go.
on to be the athletic director and so forth, but he was the head coach at Providence. Dave Gavitt came to my house and sat down, met my mom and dad. Sloan came to my house and met my mom and dad.
And this is when you was thinking about leaving, right?
This was when I was in high school. Now,
Gavitt. High school. Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Gavitt, I called up at the end of my sophomore, start before my junior year started, and was going to transfer to Providence. I would have had 2 years of eligibility, and Sloan talked me into staying. So I stayed. And as soon as the school year started, he flipped. He flipped on me. Literally flipped.
Isn't that crazy about the recruiting process? They love you when they're trying to get you, but once they got you, the real them shows. The real them comes out.
What I realized and what I learned was two things. One, he could not let anything from the previous coaching look good. So he had to tear that down. And then two is Sloan plays favorites. I mean, it is what it is. And so if you were his favorite, you could do whatever you want, shoot, and blah, 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 and he wouldn't say a word. One of my teammates pointed out, said to me, he said, Mike, you ever notice that all your practices are good practices whenever you don't shoot and score? I'm like, yeah, I picked it up. I noticed it. So I got tired of being cursed out for other people's shortcomings, other people's failures. So what he literally was trying to make me the whipping boy. I'm the one that's going to take the blunt of all it. So right around Christmas time, when we came back to campus, I had decided I was going to transfer. So at that point, everything he said to me just kind of went right out, one in one ear and out the other. Just, none. The one benefit, if there's a benefit from it, from that, is that I was close with all my teammates. We bonded from a hatred of a coach.
Right. Right.
So that was interesting. And the other thing too is, which I always tell people, I transferred to Tennessee State where I met my wife. We've been together since 1981, 1982, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
And we have two beautiful children. So all that, I thank Norm Sloan for that, even though that's not what he meant, but it turned out good for me.
Got you. Yeah. No, that's man. I know you're reflecting now as a grown man.
Yes.
But when you was a young man, what was going through your mind? Let's keep it real.
As a young man,
yes,
I worked into a state of depression. I was the guy who always was going to do whatever it took to please the coach. I was a coach. I was a coach's kid, I guess. A coach's, what the coach wanted.
Right.
I wanted to be the coach on the floor, and it seemed like there was nothing I could do to please this man, to make him happy. And so I started getting depressed. And right around Christmas time, when I was in my dorm room, it hit me. My game didn't change. I didn't change. The situation around me changed. Because one of the things that would happen is some of the younger guys would talk, started smelling themselves, started talking a little trash, started feeling good about themselves. And I would always say to them, real simple. We can roll it out in the gym with no coaches. We can go one-on-one. And my good friend, rest in peace, Ronnie Williams.
Yes, for the legendary
Ronnie was a freshman when I was a
legendary SEC player from Florida. He was one of the best things that I could talk about Florida, but besides Joe Noah, that came from New York. Salute and rest in peace, Ronnie Williams.
So yes. Ronnie would say, yo, you can't F with George. They call me by my middle name, George. You can't mess with George. I was like, go sit down. Coach Sloan's, you got Coach Sloan in the head. Now you're starting to smell yourself.
Right.
Go sit down.
Because I really can ball. I'm really like that.
Well, and you have to understand, we, even though we had practice and games, we still played pickup ball. And that's why my game didn't change. I was
Right.
still the same player that would break you off and dunk on you in a minute, jump shots, lock you up, lock you down. I was still that same guy. And you can see my boy Shabazz is here, and he talked about my boy Chick from Harlem. So Chick's another one that worked with me too when I was
Yeah,
younger.
we got Keith Ellis in the building. He said Shabazz and Mike was a hell of a player. I know him personally and worked out with him on many occasions. Pushed him hard myself. Said Chick from Harlem, great runs. Miss him. So proud of Mike. Yes.
Now Keith Ellis is Shabazz, who I told you grew up down the block from me, that started me playing, that played with I forgot his name again, out of Brooklyn, played with Brooklyn, USA, and also played with, why am I forgetting his name?
Now you talking about either Jerry Ice Reynolds,
No, I'm talking about
Andre
the coach.
Irvin.
I'm talking about the coach.
You about the coach. Oh, that we talking about
Gil Reynolds.
Gil
Shabazz
Reynolds.
is the one I told you that played for Gil Reynolds that
Got you.
started me playing. That's
Gil
Shabazz.
Reynolds, legendary. Rest in peace, Gil Reynolds. Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
So
this is amazing.
So when I decided to transfer, I reached out to my high school coach and I reached out to Coach Lotz to make phone calls for me.
Yep.
And we were up playing Vanderbilt in Nashville. And when I was up playing Vanderbilt in Nashville, my roommate, Hayes Dickens at Florida, one of his high school friends from his town in Florida was going to Tennessee State, starting point guard. So he came over to the hotel, picked us up, brought us over to the campus, looked around, talked. And I said, I can see going to school here. So I called Coach Lotz and said, could you call the head coach and, put some feelers out and find out what's going on, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And of course, Ed Martin said, I'd love to have him, blah, blah, blah. And Coach Lotz told him again, the guy's, his NBA prospect, he can flat out play. And so that's how I end up at Tennessee State. But I dropped out of Florida around April and went back to New York and was just basically working and hanging out at home. And
so Tennessee State was an afterthought.
Yeah, I was at home and I wasn't sure if I was going to go back to college, but I'll tell you what happened. Positive side, negative side. I'm back in New York, couple of shootings at the park. I can't find a decent job. All I'm finding is manual labor jobs. I'm like, I can't live off of this. I can't, so I said, I got to go back to school and get my degree and go back and play some ball.
Good thing you did, brother.
Yeah.
Good
So
thing
that's when I enrolled. And that's when I basically enrolled and went down to Tennessee State.
Wow.
Yep.
For all my people that's on TikTok right now, because we on TikTok Live, we were just on Instagram Live. For all my people that's on TikTok, come over to NYC Basketball History. The link is in the bio, or just go right to YouTube so you can see who we got, our guest, the legendary Mike Milligan. Come on and join us. This is so crazy. Now listen, I remember being recruited by Hampton University, and I was so uneducated about the HBCUs. I was so blind to that side of life because I didn't know anything about HBCUs, and I turned my nose up at Hampton like I'm too good to go there, and didn't realize what I was missing out on.
Yeah. Well, for me, when I got down there, Coach Martin moved me back to where I should be. I was a wing, moved me back to the wing spot, and basically was like, go play, but not a point guard. And it's funny. You'll appreciate this story. I get down to Tennessee State. It's August. I'm in my dorm room. Me and my roommate from Florida transferred with me, so we were roommates again together down there.
Got you.
So we're in the dorm room, and they knock on the door and say, "Yo, we're going over to the old gym to play some pickup." So me and my roommate in there, and I looked at my roommate and said to him, I said, "All right, it's time for them to learn who Mike Milligan is, and understand that next year." I don't know who's playing that 3 spot, but whatever it is, I got that. I said, so it's time to learn, time for me to teach him who I am.
Okay.
I gave them an array of dunks, jump shots, ball handling. And it was funny. The starting point guard on my team said, yo, man, he was 6'4" point guard. He's like, I ain't never seen anybody bigger than me that could handle a rock like me. I was like, yeah, again, I'm really modest. I'm not a braggadocious type of guy. So I'm like, yeah, I can handle a rock. And he goes, and your size, because again, I was bigger than him. So I had no problem kind of moving him around and going where I wanted to go. So I literally, at that point, I set TSU's campus on fire. They're like, who's this kid from New York? Where's this guy from New York? Who is this guy?
New York is in the building. That's how we do, baby.
That's how we do. So that was when I first got to Tennessee State. When
did you like when you got on campus? Because now you down in Florida, right? It's a different kind of vibration down there. You get down to Tennessee, it's a whole different world. Okay, how was life for you off the court as well, and how did they embrace you?
It was different because Florida, I was at a training table. Florida, I got a new pair of sneakers every game, whatever I wanted, I got.
Gotcha.
Not just me though, all of us.
Mm-hmm.
At Tennessee State, I would put it this way: Florida's basketball budget was probably as big as Tennessee State's whole budget. You get what I'm kind of saying in terms of money.
But Dion, and it's 2023.
Yeah,
it's still like that. This is why Dion moved on to Colorado, right? Because he talked about Jacksonville's budget. It's crazy.
So that was real. But the other side was, I was all about my business. I literally was all about, I'm down here, I'm gonna handle my business, So I went to class, made the dean's list every semester I was in college there. And
hold on.
Yeah.
We blowing the whistle for the dean's list every year. Every semester you was down there.
Yep.
Go ahead, Mike.
So I made the dean's. I took my academics seriously. So I made the dean's list. I was like, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to have a degree. I'm going to get my degree. I'm going to do my work, and hopefully I can go pro. But I'm going to do my work. I'm going to take advantage of why I'm here. So I was all about my business. And also the other thing that was challenging at Tennessee State was I had a hard time getting into the gym to work on my game. They wouldn't let me in the gym because of insurance and this and that. So I couldn't get into the gym. So a lot of times I was driving around the community, finding rec centers and going in there during the day and working on my game and shooting. I just had a hard, it was upsetting. I just, that I never experienced. I'm a basketball player. Why can't I go in the gym? I need to work on my game. But that was the rules back then. I think I know things are a lot better now in terms of that.
Right. Yeah, man, that's it's a difficult situation to be, because you come from having all the spoils, right? But not being put and placed in a situation to succeed on a basketball court, right? And sometimes the exchange is a little bit different, because you don't have the spoils here, but you get a chance to play the way you need to play, and you also bounce back and started, stuffing that stat sheet, becoming a lead scorer, lead rebounder, right? And second in assist.
Yep.
Man, that's a good bounce back.
The thing for me was I knew what to do and how to do it. So the shame of it is a lot of my teammates at Tennessee State didn't have the basketball IQ or the training that I had. So it was harder for them. And I don't mean harder for them, but it was, how can I put this? It was harder for me to help them win ball games because a lot of them didn't know what it took to win a ball game. That's how I would say it.
Gotcha.
They just didn't know. And then, like, we would have certain games. I remember we went to the Far West Classic and we were playing certain games, and I literally would see my teammates' eyes get big. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's okay. I got you. So, but a lot of the guys at Tennessee State were not starters on their high school teams. They were second, third player. A lot of the players showed up from referrals from their high school coach who might have went to Tennessee State or saw a player. So, and transfers were really big. That's how they dealt with it, with a lot of transfers.
What I saw in the 15-minute clip that you sent me, they was trying to find you every time they got down the court. It was just like, no, I don't want you. Everybody was playing hot potato to Mike. Where Mike at? Where Mike at? I noticed. I'm watching it going, wow, damn, you know. And again, learning how to watch film and seeing certain things, I saw that, but I know it had to do something to restore your confidence, because once you lose your confidence in basketball, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And what you was able to accomplish without being able to work in your game, playing with guys who are second and third string, playing with a lot of transfers, dudes who didn't know how to win, how did you still manage to get drafted? Now,
well, I'm gonna defend some of my teammates. Like my teammate Glenn Washington, who transferred from University of Chattanooga. When Glenn was with the Chicago Bulls and got released, before he got released, he got a standing ovation from the crowd, but he got released. So but he transferred in. He was like me. So I was fortunate that by my senior year, I finally had a point guard that I could give the ball to and just run down court, get open and get the ball and do my thing.
Got
by
you.
my senior year. I wish I had that all 4 years, but I only had it 1 year, and I made the best of it. I really did. When it came to point guards, I had a trust issue. I played with Sam Worthen. I played with Steve Brawley Satch. I played with Nino Lyons, who led the junior college in assist in 1 year on a bad leg that he had knee surgery on. So I knew what it was like to play with a point guard. My only problem was I didn't have one until my senior year in college.
All right, never whistle. Because you played with my OG, Sam Worthen.
Yeah.
Right. Where did you play with Sam at?
Sam and I were in Philly together. And I played with Sam. I played with Sam in the Pro-Am pickup run at Madison Avenue Boys Club.
Oh yeah, my AAU club right there,
Manhattan Art and Design. Sam is our generation. So Sam is Sam.
That's
And
right. That's right. The wizard, the wizard, the one and only.
You can't explain what Sam could do until you're on the court playing with him and you say, I've never seen anything like this. I'm on the court with Sam and I'm watching Sam. And the funny thing about playing with Sam was, and you know this, I give Sam the ball, run down court, and all of a sudden the ball's in my hand and I'm shooting a wide open layup. And I'm like, I didn't even see him see me. How do you know where I was at? And Sam with the handle, Sam dribbling the ball and you reach for it. Sam's the one who taught me the backhand. Yo, Mike, when they reach for it, just pop them in the face. I'm like, oh, damn. Because what I would do is I would give him the elbow or shoulder. So I'm like, no, a little quick pop. That way they not gonna call a foul on you, because they used to call a lot of offensive fouls on me because I would give a guy a shoulder when he reached and knock him down and hit him in the lip or try to make him think twice about reaching. Sam's like, no, just tap him. Just tap him. I learned that from Sam.
Listen, so we're gonna say this right now. I sat with Sam and Joe Hammond at Elmcore a couple of weeks back, and the IQs was for both of these ball players was off the charts, right? Off the charts.
Yes, sir.
Both of them.
Yes,
but
sir.
I was talking to Sam in particular about the pro game and what really goes on behind the scenes, well, in front of us, that people don't really know or understand. That backhand, right?
Yep.
That's a jewel right there, right? And you showing your hand, so you're not doing it that way, right? And also,
you're dribbling the guys on your hip. You got your arm bar up, just a little quick pop right in the face.
Oh man, he also said if guys wasn't in the spot they supposed to be in, or he was mad at the dude, he'd give a guy the pass with like 2 seconds left of the shot clock. You mess up his shooting percentage. He was like, yo, this goes on to this day if you watch the game carefully. And
Oh
I
yeah.
said, this is crazy. He was just picking part little jewels like that most guys have no clue what's going on a pro level.
Yep. I've told people this and they look at me. I'm like, I can have the ball in my hand and really jack you up. And the ref will probably call a foul on you because you're going to reach. And I said, when you reach, I'm going to get you. And they look at me and they go, I'm like, I know how to do that. But that's the reason why on the other side, you'll see so many fights because guys with our type of ability, when something like that happens, most likely they did it on purpose. It wasn't an accident. So when a guy does it really aggressive and hard, it's like, okay, you must be ready to fight. So there's a fine line between the two. But you will, and it's funny because I say this all the time. If somebody's standing too close to me, my first instinct is to put a forearm up and move him back. I mean, that's my first instinct. That's from basketball.
Right. But they're gonna call that, or you get a situation that happened last night with J Mart, choked this guy. That was just too
crazy. It's a different generation.
Man.
I'll put it this way. I couldn't play in the league right now. I'd foul out in 5 minutes.
You can't touch anyone. You can't touch anyone.
Can't touch him. And also, who is it? Durant calls it the zipper jab.
Oh, now it's the foul. No, they call it offensive foul now.
Yeah, I know. For me, it was like, I'm just going to back you up off me. So that that was a common move. And you get too close, I'm just going to back you up.
Well, he would do the rip through. If you pat your hand here, they would rip through and shoot and get a foul on you, right?
Yep.
The smart guys, the smart ones would do that. And they say, they're going to change the rules on that. So,
what I used to do? If you dribbling the ball and you go to steal it, I would grab your hand and move it out the way.
But you got those big ass hands, so that's not like really normal. Like you like an alien, man, bro. You like an alien. You probably could just do that with your thumb and just move your hand out the way. Like you're not normal, fam. That's just not something that regular people could do.
I'm not sure how much time we have, but I got to tell you this.
We here.
All right, I got to tell you this story. I'm at Philly. Mm-hmm. Oh, jeez.
We got some time. Go ahead.
I got to make a move.
Go ahead.
Can we pause?
Yeah, I know. I'm no. You go ahead and do what you do. I'm going to the screen. There you go. Listen, y'all got to understand this. All my people that's on TikTok right now, we gonna vibe for a minute right now because y'all have to understand. There's so many levels to the game of basketball. I know you guys just see guys running back and forth on the NBA level, shooting threes. Just imagine, we got the greatest players in the world that you can't really touch. Now, I hear guys on other podcasts saying, guys from the 70s and 80s couldn't play defense or they fouled a lot. No. But it shouldn't be that easy. You're getting paid millions of dollars. You could play zone in the NBA right now. What the hell is that? You could play zone now. If you're getting paid that much money, you should be that much better at playing defense and able to stop people. This is just my take on it. So now, if you got a player like Gene Smith, who didn't foul out a lot, but he made it tough on you. And if he's playing these guys right now that's in the NBA and he couldn't, hand check them, right? You playing against the greatest players in the world. Now I just have to stand in front of you. Ha, 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 ha. You know how easy it is for you? I know how easy that is. And I wasn't a top-tier scorer. If I knew you couldn't touch me, I'm giving you 30 and 40 every night. It's just that easy. We're going to bring Mike back. Yo, my people on TikTok, stay locked in. If you want to hear more, come to YouTube. NYC Basketball History or NYC Basketball Network. Whatever you type in, you'll see the show pulled up and it'll say that I'm live. Come holler.
Now, Pooh, I know we're jumping, but when you brought this up, I got to tell you this story.
Go ahead, bro. Yo, tonight is your night.
So I'm at rookie camp with Philly, and we're having an inter-squad scrimmage. And the point guard guarding me knows the play. So I give him a little move. I turn the corner, and I raise up. Right when I raised up, Long Island guy, good friend of mine, Howard Wood, played at Tennessee, comes over to block it. So I pull it down, go by him, and then reach back and dunk it.
Ooh.
Right after I did it,
That's mean. That's mean.
Jack McCluskey goes, timeout. So I'm walking over the timeout, and he runs up to me. What are you doing? Who do you think you are? And I'm like, what, coach? Only Dr. J does that around here. And he starts laughing.
Oh, I thought he was going to tell you, no showboating.
And he started laughing. So a couple of my teammates at Philly started nicknaming me Baby Doc, which is an honor, but not an honor, because I'm not doing what Doc did. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be Doc. I'm trying to be me. I'm a very good me. I'm not a good Dr. J, even though I got the hands like him. But so that was my one of my Philly stories that I think felt that you would enjoy.
So when did you realize, you know what, this is not going to work out for itself? I need to transition back into the real world. And how was that transition for you?
Transition was hard. All right. It's hard to turn on the TV and watch guys play that you've played against, outplayed. It's just hard. So, and the other thing too was I had lost credits because Florida was on quarters, Tennessee State was on semesters. So I enrolled in Hofstra, got my degree in accounting. And after, I was getting my degree in accounting, I started working for a company, a little financial planning firm. And that's when I got the bug for finance and Wall Street. And after I graduated, I went to work for Dean Witter. I didn't touch a basketball. I didn't look at a basketball game on TV, didn't touch a basketball for almost 4 years. That's how I had to deal with it. And I finally, believe it or not, I started going to the gym just to work out a little bit, just to get in shape. And then one of my coworkers at Dean Witter kept inviting me down to the DAC, Downtown Athletic Club. So I would go down there and I started playing a little bit. Next thing I know, I'm at the McBurney Y playing a little bit. Next thing I know, I'm over at the Madison Avenue Boys Club playing a little bit on Saturday. And then by that time, I'm kind of back into it. So
you're a basketball head for real. That's what we do.
Yeah, I mean, I was. And then Madison Avenue,
went back into it.
Over at Madison Avenue on Saturday mornings, if you didn't have game, you couldn't get in. Gene would be down there. That's, Gene. Who else? Mayor Eli would be down there. Pros would be down there. We played. So it was some good run. I played in West Fourth one year. I didn't like West Fourth. I didn't like the little court. Didn't like that. I was playing in the Pro-Am. I played in the Pro-Am a lot. And it's funny. I played in Over the Hill League and all that. And it was funny. As I started getting older, I used to tell my coach, pick one. I can't do both ends now. Either one offense or you want defense. I can give you whatever you want, but I can't give you both anymore.
And that's when you should have went back to West Fourth.
So,
wow.
I literally went to work on Wall Street, and I would work on Wall Street, and I took the same attitude to Wall Street I had in basketball. One was my goal in Wall Street was to learn how to make money, buying and selling stock. So I went there with the same attitude like I had in basketball. I'm willing to do 2 a days. I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to outread you. I'm going to put in the work to learn my craft.
Right.
So, I mean, that's always been me since I was a young kid. I don't know where it came from, but if there's something I want to learn, I'm willing to, do 2 a days, 3 a days. I'm the guy who's in the room doing work. And then when I roll out, I'm another person. And you're like, whoa, when did Mike become this person? And that's because I do the work in private. It's not like I talk about it.
Gotcha.
And that was my introduction to Wall Street. I took that same attitude. I worked at 4 different firms in a short period of time, but the reason being it's different. Each firm, I went there to learn something. And when I learned it, it basically was time to move on. And I was that guy. I was not a very good broker because I really didn't want to be a broker. I wanted to learn the business so I could actually go and do it on my own. And that's what I did. I mean, I started a hedge fund basically with nothing.
All right, now hold on.
I made more money in a hedge fund than I made playing basketball by far. It wasn't even close.
Mike, please explain to our audience what the F is a hedge fund, because I think this is so important. Please break this down for us, brother.
All right. The true definition of a hedge fund is a fund that is mitigating, reducing risk. The analogy I would give you is,
please, in English, Mike.
In English.
Okay.
You own a very expensive car.
Okay.
How are you going to protect that asset? Insurance. Hedge funds use different type of techniques as insurance to reduce or minimize how much money they'll lose if they're wrong. That's what a true hedge fund is. Nowadays, anything that's not traditional, mutual funds, anything that's not a traditional is called a hedge fund. But a real hedge fund is you're hedging your bets. You're hedging your trades. That at one point, in fact, I can look at you and tell you, I have this, how much money I have invested in this particular stock. If I'm wrong, I can tell you to the penny how much money I'll lose. If I'm right, I got plenty of upside. So I built my business around that. And the funny thing about the business was it was relationship driven, but also knowledge driven. And what I mean by knowledge is, I tell people this all the time. Sit me down, there's 2 things I can talk to anybody about: basketball and finance. Why? I put my time in. I did my work. I did my due diligence. And the thing that I say to people now is, everyone's looking for the get rich quick, short, do it, this and that. It's not that way. It's almost like people think Steph Curry was born shooting like he's shooting. They don't realize how many hours he spent in the gym by himself. They don't realize how much work he put in.
And wanted to give up because they had to change his shot. I remember watching his brother explain that, and in the backyard he used to cry, and he had to get through it. Now,
but if this is what you want, this is the price you got to pay. The price he paid is, and most of us pay is, well, I'm not hanging out every night. I'm not going to parties on the weekend. I'm up at 6 in the morning going to the gym. I gave up other things to get better at basketball. And if you're not willing to put the work in, everyone thinks it's God-given talent. It is God-given talent, but if you don't hone that skill set, you're not going to be a professional. You might be able to get away with high school just being the best athlete. You might even get through college being the best athlete. But when you get to the pro level, like me, I was playing against this young cat from Iona. I'm not going to say his name because I don't even remember the guy's name. I looked at the guy and I said, I couldn't guard him if you paid me. Can't guard this guy. And they looked at me and said, Mike, he can't guard you. And trust me, after the first quarter, he's out of shape. After the first quarter, he's done. So I said, okay, cool. So what I did was, the first quarter, I just kept running around, making him chase me, catch and shoot, run around. By the second quarter, he was done. I think in the program, I must have dropped like 25 or 30.
Wow.
But it was this.
That's
it
right.
wasn't this anymore. And the funny thing is, as I was coaching some of the kids that are young men now, not kids, on there on the call here, I would show them things. They're like, "Man, coach is taking us in slow motion," and I'm like, "It's not slow motion. I'm just getting you off balance.
That's right.
I'm just moving you around." I said, "If I want to go to my right, I'm moving you to my left. If I want a jump shot, I'm moving you back. If I want to go to hole, I'm pulling you up. I know how to move you around to get where I want to go to do what I want to do." And that's what I think most young ball players never learn. And I had this discussion with my assistant coach from high school. He used to always say, "Take what the defense gives you." And I'm like, I disagree. I take what I want. I move the defense to where I get what I want. And I said, and once you master that, I used to tell my players, I'm a puppet master. I can move you left, move you right, move you up. I move you to where I want you to be, and then I go do what I want to do. And that's what a lot of the younger players now don't understand. And they all think, wow, he's super fast. I got to get this guy. He's so fast. I'm like, most fast guys I've seen get out of control. They can't handle their own speed. And then if you think about this, when you're on offense, how often are you moving full speed? You're virtually never moving full speed on offense. And if you are moving full speed, it's maybe 1 or 2 steps. It's not 5 or 6, it's 1 or 2. So it's not about quickness. It's about getting the guy off balance and turn his quickness against him. And that's what most guys never learn.
No, that's real, man. That's real.
That's why I said scoring's easy. Scoring's easy.
But it takes this. It takes that for sure, for sure.
Well, one of the things like now, all right, I started this program at Fullerton where I taught students how to invest in this and that. You know, long story short version, but I founded this program. I viewed them as my players on my team, and I was the coach. And what I would do with them is I would find out what their weaknesses were. And I would say to them, I said, look, be honest with yourself. Whatever your weakness is, we got to work on that. You got strengths. Right. So my job as a team coach is to bring these strengths together to have this team be the best it can be. But individually, I got to make sure that whatever your weakness is, I got to improve that. You might not be ever a great writer, but if I can help you be average, well, you have your other great skill sets, it's going to move you up the food chain. And that's the way I teach class. That's the way I ran my program. That's the way I handle students. That's the way anybody I train. The other thing is, and you've probably seen this, how many times have you seen players doing drills and not know why they're doing the drill and what purpose it serves on the court?
We call those cone players.
I was at my son's high school practice out here in LA, and the coach had him doing a speed dribble from half court. And I'm looking at my son, and he's going, and then I'm going, those are 3 dribbles from half court. Now understand this. I taught my son how to do 1 dribble and dunk from anywhere on half court. So I'm looking at him. I'm actually getting mad at my son because I'm like, dude, don't go down to their level.
That's right.
Make them come up to yours. You know what a real speed dribble is. Do the real speed dribble and finish it with a dunk like you've been taught. That's what players don't understand. They've never learned. The coaches go through these drills because I guess they watch a video, they go to a coaching clinic and they do all these drills, but they never explain to the player, why are you doing this drill? What do you need to learn from this? Now, let's take this skill set and how does it work in a game? Game situation. Same skill set, but now we got to apply it in games. Most coaches don't want to do that. They don't want to do the heavy lifting. They want to recruit a Mike Milligan that already knows how to do it easy. And then if you don't do it, they'll bring somebody in right over the top of you. And what happens to these kids?
That was a bar. Very true. I see that going on a lot. Now, how did you become Professor Milligan?
Great story. I'm running a hedge fund, putting up some, when I say numbers, and I got to understand, I say this and I mean this with all sincerity. In running a hedge fund, I didn't have a large fund. I have had years where I put up triple digits. All right. So in other words, I took $1 and turned it into 2, took 10 grand, turned it into 20, took 100 grand, turned it into 200 grand. So I did that. But I could never get the big money. In other words, I couldn't get the investors to give me the big money because when I walked into the room, they looked and said, wow, this guy looks like he should be playing basketball. How's he know this? He can't know this. They discounted everything I had done and everything I put into it. So I go, okay. They challenge me on how I got this. They don't understand. I'm self-taught, put the work in. My numbers, say it. So what I'll do is I'll go to graduate school, get my MBA in finance, and then all of a sudden, here's the credentials of how, I learned all this.
The piece of paper. That's what we call it.
Now, here's what's interesting. I'm in graduate school, and one of my finance professors goes, Mike, why do I have the feeling you could teach my class? I said, I can teach your class because I know all this. I'm self-taught. I said, I didn't go through school, but I learned this actually by being on the street and working. So I had a class with one professor who was basically saying how things should work in the marketplace. And I said to him, textbook-wise, technically, you are correct. But in the real world, it doesn't work that way. And he wanted to argue about it. And I'm sitting there going, I do this on a regular basis. What you're saying technically is correct. And what he was saying was you would always sell a stock based on the bid price. You would never offer it at a discount. And I said to him, when you're dealing with a large block of stock, that if you drop it on the market, you're going to make the price go down. You're going to offer it at a discount to get out of that block. You're going to leave some money on the table and let the trader or specialist on the floor have that money. He didn't understand that. So while I'm sitting in class, I never forget it. I said to myself, boy, it's a shame that these colleges don't have a real hands-on program that talks about the emotions and what you do in terms of investing and trading. This is crazy. I'm at a college, well-known college, getting a master's degree in finance, and the people talking about how the market works are clueless. So at that point, that's when my program, Applied Securities Analysis program, that's when it actually started forming in my head, even though I wasn't teaching at a college. When I graduated from Pepperdine with my MBA, I said, all right, Mike, you got to keep your mind sharp as you go to start your new hedge fund. You got to, you want people that are going to challenge you and keep it going. I said, I know what I'll do. I'll teach. Those young minds are going to come right at me, make me kind of think things through. I know I don't know everything, but I'll figure it out, and they're going to keep my mind fresh and keep it sharp. So I went and started teaching as I was going through the steps to try and start a new hedge fund. 4 years later, I realized I'm a professor and this is my new career. I never got back to starting a new hedge fund.
Wow.
And
you found your calling. You found your real calling.
And I'm an easy person to read. I really am. Either I'm all in or I'm not in. I'm not very good at halfway. I'm not a very good liar.
Me either.
My facial expressions show what I'm really thinking most of the time. So if I'm in or I'm not in. And when I'm in, I'm in. And you're gonna get 120% from me. You're gonna get everything I got. And the one thing about me too, because I learned this with ball, I'm always trying to learn more. I'm always trying to improve my weaknesses. I'm trying to get more and more. And that's just the nature of, like I said, I learned that from ball, and it's just been part of my life ever since.
You've done some amazing things throughout your life, becoming a legendary ball player, to becoming a heavyweight in finance, to becoming a heavyweight professor.
I got to add one more. I'm also an academic state senator.
Woo! Yo, I told her, you know what's coming. I told her, you already know what's coming.
Lord.
Facts.
The Cal State system I work in is the largest university system in the country.
Wow.
1 out of 10 students in California, 1 out of 10 college graduates in California come through that system. 1 out of 20 college graduates in the U.S. come through this system. I'm an academic state senator for this system, which means I help set academic policy for the whole system, as well as my campus and other systems within the system.
This is the first time I've ever heard of that position, and to know that you hold that position, man.
I was elected.
That's amazing.
I was elected, and the other thing too is
now, do you have it forever like most of these other state senators?
No, it's every 3. I gotta go up for election again every 3 years.
They do it well. Yeah.
One other thing, which I think all your listeners should know, is I also am taking classes to get my doctorate, and the reason being is, again, I'm a lifelong learner. If you're not pushing yourself, who is?
That's right.
So that I keep a pretty busy schedule, but I like it that way because what else am I going to do? I mean, I don't want to just sit around and not do anything. So I want to exercise my mind. I want to develop my mind and my skill set.
And to top it off, right? Jay Murray was like, did he skip over the coaching years? Taking the team from LA and beat New York players? Say word. You turned on your state, fam? Come on.
Oh, you don't know that?
No, what?
I took a team of 8th graders to New York and won a tournament over at IS8 run by my boy Pete Edwards.
Yeah, salute to Pete Edwards, legendary.
Yeah. So I brought it, and Pete clowned me. Pete was like, "Yo, Mike, these boys surfer boys or what?" I'm like, "Nah." And then
bring your game, not your name. Right?
Yeah. One of them said something. When one of my boys go, "Yo, man, I'm from LA. We do drive-bys." And Pete was like, "Mike, do they know they're in South Jamaica?" I said, "They don't know where they at." I said, "I'll kind of
South side, Queens get the money for sure."
But we rolled through there, and we won that tournament. Now it was years ago. Jeremy was on that team. We won that tournament over at IS8, and we were all 8th graders. Yeah, came in and spanked them. Pete and them were upset. You let these California boys come in here with this basic stuff. I kept saying, Pete, they've been trained. They have the same mindset I have. They'll fight you as quick as they'll play with you or play against you. I said they're not fearful. They don't have that.
They from LA, but they had that New York spirit. So
yep. And by the way, those four of those guys are 4 of those players. Some of those players are the 4 kids I sent to 5-star going into their senior year.
Man, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
So let's really talk about the meat of the reason why you're here, right? This ASAP program you founded, and then I want to give big shouts to your daughter. Let's show your daughter some love because she reached out to me, and she wanted to make sure that her dad get his just due, and make sure that people put some respect on your name because you created this amazing program. And kind of walk me through why you started it and then the controversy behind it.
So when I got to campus at Cal State Fullerton, I'm active with the students. So I started an investment club, and I started into investment competitions. And I guess about 3 or 4 years into it, and 4 or 5 years into me teaching there, it had to be longer than that. But anyway, about 5 years into it, I talked to my department chair about starting a program. And this was a hands-on, the best thing I could put it is, this program is no different than us, your coach saying, we're going to scrimmage for the next 2 or 3 weeks to get you ready for games. Or, I'm going to teach you and we're going to play games and all that to get you ready to play D1 ball in college. So in my mindset, I was getting these students prepared for what they needed to get jobs in finance, jobs that would be considered very coveted jobs for somebody who's just coming out of college. In fact, I've had students come out of college that were making more money than me that I trained. So the program is literally almost like an internship that I developed to get these kids ready. I spent 2 years going around talking to other programs, other directors, putting together the syllabus, the criteria, the curriculum, and then I started teaching the program. But you'll appreciate what I did. And what that was is, as my students graduated and went on to the workforce, I would say to them, Come back and tell me what I need to teach you to get you to the next level. What did I not give you that you feel like you should have gotten? I said, please tell me because I want to make the program better. Then the other thing I did was when people would call up and say, we've got one of your students here, they put you down as a reference. Can you tell us about them? I would talk about the student. And then when I got done, I would say to the company, I'd say, by the way, I've got 12 more just like him or her.
Wow.
And they would go, what? I said, let me explain to you the program. So I would tell them what we were doing and how we were doing it. And then I would say to them, I can start developing students to come directly to your company. Just tell me what you need me to teach them before they get there. And so what I was able to do is I started building up a rapport with all these different companies. Every one of my students that came through my program got a job in finance.
Mm.
Some of them didn't stay, but every one of them, and I'm not talking about just any old job. They got jobs that you would say, in fact, I had students as undergrad students beat out USC and UCLA MBA students for a job because they felt like they were better prepared, better trained, and had more knowledge. I used to tell my students all the time, I said to them, look, I was a black man on Wall Street. I've had people take my work and claim it as theirs. I've been through this. I said, I've had people look at me and say, you can't do this because you're black. What I'm going to say to you is, they're going to say that to you that you're Latino, you're Asian, and you went to a state university. How could you know all this when you went to a state university? I said, you have to overcome those objections. And that means you have to be smarter than what they think you are. You have to be smarter than what your competition is. And so that's how I developed them. And the other thing is I gave them all what you talked about earlier, confidence in themselves.
Mm.
A lot of them came in with no confidence. I'd be like, do you understand what you just did? Do you understand who you are? Do you understand what you know? You know more than they do. You just don't realize it yet. Wait till you get out there in the workforce and you'll say, wow, I can't believe how much I know. And that's exactly what would happen. So the university has a big donor who's an alum. I'm not going to get into too much, but after the donor had me relieved from the program, Now, understand this.
Hold on, time out. Because I'm not going to blow a whistle on that. With all the success that you're having, what would make them remove you from the program?
I said the exact same thing when they called me into the office and told me that they would relieve me from the program.
How?
And I said, how? And they said to me, I'm not going to go into all the details, but they basically told me a little story. And based on that story, the thing that they said was, it was the donor. That's basically what they told me. The donor wanted you removed. And the person who told me this actually said to me, I think you're doing a great job. And all my reviews stated I was doing a great job. So the donor wanted the program. They changed the name of my program to Titan Capital Management, TCM. And I guess they figured, well, I went through the process of trying to figure out how to fight this. My problem is that the administrators who I would turn to are the ones who gave them the power to do it. So then you heard me correctly.
This is blowing my mind because what it sounded like is you created that program at their school and they're using their school as an incubator like they do in the tech world. And if you create it here, well, we own it. Or we get a piece of it. Like they didn't even give you a chance to even say, you can still own it, but you got to break us off because you created it here. They just took the whole thing. That's crazy, Mike.
Well, the thing that's really crazy is donors legally are not allowed to come on campus and make any type of things of that nature. They're allowed to donate, but they don't have any say in terms of who's hired, fired, or whatnot. So I couldn't see the people who actually were over that because they're the ones who empowered him. I went to see my union representative and my chapter president. And he said, Mike, you're right. Donors don't have that ability to do that. But at the same time, he said, they're going to lie. They're going to lie and say it was their decision. He said, they're going to protect the donor because they want his money. And so there I was. And the last thing that was said to me by my union rep, chapter president, Mike, if they fired you from the program, your job could be next.
Mm.
And I had 2 kids in college to support. So I became, I'm not going to say it that way. I became invisible. 6'5", 285-pound black man tried to make himself small and invisible.
Well, that's what
2
they
years.
said the Invisible Man was, that we were the Invisible Man.
Yeah.
The movie, the book, if you really
Oh,
check
I
what
know
it's
exactly what
saying.
you're talking about. I was about to say I was the spook by the door, but I wasn't going to say it. But a lot of people haven't read that book and they don't understand what it means.
No, you need to say it, because that's who I am at my job. And everybody knows that I am that at my job. And I love the fact that I got the support of the higher ups to allow me to do that. So salute to everybody at MVP.
So I spent 2 years on campus trying to make myself small. Then we had the pandemic, which actually helped me. Then when I became an academic state senator, I learned all the rules, all the regulations, everything. And as I learned, my fear dissipated and I found my voice. And so I started speaking up. I wasn't specific, but I started speaking up. And then I guess about 3 weeks ago, I'm on my way to work and I see an article coming out that talks about the program and how the donor, it was his vision and dream and so forth that created this program and how he did this and did that. And I lost it. I immediately sent out an email to the authors of that article. I CC'd my department chair and the dean of the college. And I basically told them that this article was inaccurate, that I was the founder, developed, founded, not the donor, not this person. This article's fake. And I, want a reprint or retraction, whatever it is to take. The reason why I had to put my dean and department chair on there, because every time I've said this in the past, they're like, no, you're not. You're not the founder. So I had them be on there and they said, yeah, he is. That's when my daughter saw her, when I got home and told my daughter what happened, that's when she put that letter, and a couple of days later, she did the video.
Would you mind telling the world who your daughter is? Because I just thought that was super huge for her, stand up for her dad, and she's a very brave woman. So we definitely want to give her some love, man.
That's my daughter, Nina Milligan.
Awesome.
And what was funny was they asked me to take down her post, and I said, you don't know my daughter. I couldn't make her take it down if I wanted to. I said, she's a strong-willed woman.
She's a strong, I can see. And mind you, it was just the text I read, yep. And I was just so blown away. Like, I love it when, kids stand up for their parents, but when you got a female doing it, there's no way they're backing down at all.
I told him. I said, she's not the one. I said, even if I wanted to, and I don't, I couldn't make her take it down if I wanted to. So but anyway, one of the things that happened is I started trying to talk about this, and everyone kept saying, you don't have any evidence. You don't have any evidence. I said, well, I do have evidence. But I remember saying to my wife, I said, don't worry about it. There'll be more than enough evidence. She said, why? I said, the donor walks around with impunity. He thinks he can do no wrong because they've empowered him. He has the power of a dean. He does whatever he wants, whenever he wants. I said, so he'll provide enough evidence, and he has, because he thinks it's his school, his department, and his program. And so I said, he'll give us enough evidence. So I have more than enough evidence now. I'm in the process now of interviewing attorneys to find a good attorney to represent me. And then from there, I'm going to proceed forward.
Ayatollah, you was right on point. Now, I'm going to go take it back for a little bit, because I experienced something not on that magnitude, I'm having a documentary done right now, just about how I started Basketball Heads. But what happened was, in me starting Basketball Heads, I was able to bring back the Brevard Basketball League, which was
Sure.
that the Brevard Corps been decimated for over
Yeah.
30 some, at least 30 years, 25 to 30 years. They had one rim. It looked like an empty pool. But the fact that I started the podcast, we had this company called Full Court Peace. Salute to my man Mike up at Full Court Peace, nonprofit organization that goes around the world refurbishing courts. My guy Cal from All Things Hoops forward this video that I made because we had a councilwoman by the name of Darlene Millie. I'm going to say the name. So, because she wanted to come on the show a week before the elections. So I brought her on the show, but she made this promise that she was going to get the court fixed and rename it after my childhood mentor and coach, Thomas E. Diggs. Right? And I'm explaining to what happens after that. I'm going to tell this real quick story because it's right along the same lines. I brought her involved because I had no idea about the paperwork or permits, how you go about getting the court fixed.
Right.
I brought her in because this is something that she wanted to do. She came, became a part of it. But what happened was she put out a press release that was going to go out to the newspapers and have the news there and have all the press come to the court. And in the press clipping, she had that she got in contact with Mike and that it was her idea.
Yep.
And I'm going to give a shout out to my guy, Quan Miller, who sent me this information, and he explained to me, yo, they trying to take credit for what you did.
Yep.
And it was a minute. So we had to meet again, and then they were trying to lie and say they didn't have anything to do with it.
Yep.
And that it could be a good thing. We cut them off. Good thing Mike was a good person. He was able to go and get some permission, and we got the court fixed. We named the court after my mentor. He was able to see it before he passed away because a month later, he passed away.
Wow.
And we've been running the tournament. It's been back 2 years.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's been very successful. And now, from that, now we have an AAU program, all because of Basketball Head Podcast, but standing strong and fighting for what's right. So I believe that you're going to win. You're going to come out the winner in this because rightfully so. Your students backed you. They all signed that. I don't know what the document or paper from the name change. And you got a lot of support, brother. So this is awesome.
Well, Pooh, you know what the sad part is? In my journey in talking to other brothers, I wish this was the only case I was, but it seems like every brother I've talked to has gone through this to some degree. And it's and the thing that, again, now understand, I'm a finance guy. So let me take this in another direction. When they got rid of me from the program, I had a consulting fee I was getting from that. I was using that consulting fee to pay my daughter's college tuition. So she had to take out student loans. Generational wealth. So now she has loans. I lost that income. The other thing that happened too is because I was abruptly removed, people in my college, as well as people in the community, what did Mike do wrong? He must have done something. He must not be that good. What did he do wrong? So it ruined my reputation. And then I got small. So my daughter now has student loans instead of her graduating with no student loans. I've lost income. I've lost potential income, which is part of the generational wealth that I would pass on to my kids. So this act is not a single act that doesn't have ripple effects through our community. This is what happens to our community. This is what happens to Black folk. And this is when they say, well, there's a revenue earning gap. Yeah, there's an earning gap, but also of all the ethnicities, we have the lowest generational wealth. Why? The other side is our Black females have the highest student loans. Of all the students that attend college, Black females have the highest loans. Behind them are Blacks. Because in general, we can't afford to go to college because our parents can't afford to set money aside to send us to college because of the generational wealth. So our students are taking out loans, our kids are taking out loans to go to school to try and get a better education, to move up the food chain, to create some generational wealth for them, but then they're graduating with these student loans. And there's no forgiveness on them. And they start 6 months after you graduate. That's what happens to our people. And so so again, being a finance guy, I tie things in together with finance. And immediately you can see this. I literally this morning, I was actually going through the Cal State systems data on graduation rates, how long it takes to graduate, and looking at the difference between the Black male, female, and the rest of the ethnicities. And it was crazy because by far we're the lowest. We typically carry the most debt, and we're the lowest. The only ones who are not paying for college, I hate to say this, are the athletes. And if you pull the athletes out of the equation, the numbers are even worse. So that is generational. I mean, think about it. If I'm paying $600 a month for a student loan, that's $600 I could easily be putting into buying a house, investing, taking care of something else, building my family fortune. But and then, like your case and my case, I get relief from a job that's paying me for my consulting work that I'm using to actually create my own generational wealth, and you replace me because of why again? So this is why I'm not trying to be a martyr. I'm not trying to be the savior, but I raised my kids to have a voice and not be fearful and know that dad had their back, mom and dad have your back, so whatever, especially you're speaking the truth. So how can I not speak the truth and do the same thing as I'm preaching to my kids what to do and I'm not doing it, and my students? So I have to speak up. I have no choice. I have to.
The example, a strong Black man, for sure.
Thank you.
Brother, you not only legendary ball player, great mind, you're a hero, fam. And they're usually the ones that take the lumps, right?
Yep.
You standing up and you making sure that your voice is heard and you standing for what's right and what is owed to you. It's not like you trying to take credit from somebody else. You created this program and you help kids. This is so crazy and so mind-boggling to me. I really can't believe this is one of the crazy. I've done over 500 shows. This has to be one of the most illest stories I've ever heard.
Yep.
And it's a tragedy that this is not getting national coverage.
I haven't really pushed for national coverage. The only reason I say that is I got to be careful what I say, because I don't want to put out, my lawyers say, and the lawyers I've talked to say, you don't want to put out too much information out there on this and that. But the one thing I will say is evidence is there. Evidence is there if anybody wants to go find it. All you got to do, this is not rocket science. And like I said to you, because there was no fear on his part, he walked around and did whatever he wanted to do and left a trail of evidence behind him. I mean, that is just that simple. And, the thing I guess I would say to you is, we just got done with the whole episode of these people that were the donors that were giving money to universities to get their kids in school. We just got done with that. But the thing is, he's been on campus and doing this that I can go back to at least 12 years. So this is not just overnight. And it's these things that really I didn't trust for a long time. And I only started trusting when I got into the Senate, as I met people and they open their mouth and they start talking about what they believe and what they see. At that point, I started trusting more. And I have people I trust. Like I told you, there's people I trust. But the actual administrators, I still don't trust them. I don't. They lie. They make things up. And the worst part about it is the ones who usually get the blunt of this are the faculty who get the blunt of their lies and what they do. And it doesn't help the students. I have a number of African-American male and female students that I talk to, I'm friends with. You know what they all say? I didn't know that there was a black professor in finance. I would have took some business classes. I would have been taking more classes. And my comment to them is I appreciate that thought, and that's good, but don't let your bias stop you from getting your education and what you want. So if you really want to learn finance, don't let your bias, you're on this campus. And if you're on this campus, they got to treat you like they treat every other student, which means if you want to learn more finance and take those courses, then go over there and take those courses. Don't let the bias of that you don't trust white people, don't let that stop you from getting what is owed you that you're paying money for. Get what you want. And that's my word to all my students, any student. You're paying money. You demand from me the best I can give you. Demand it. You paid money for this. And a lot of you, when you leave, you're going to be paying off this loan. So demand the best, demand excellence, demand that you get what you want and what you're asking for.
The more I get older, the more and more I realize that we are a very, very, very special kind of people, because the world wouldn't work so hard to keep their foot on our neck if we wasn't a special group of people.
Yep.
The world wouldn't try so hard, Mike. They wouldn't try so hard. I remember, white guys coming into the neighborhood and we would show them so much love. If there's a white guy that was, in a predominantly black school and he was smart or he had swag, we would show him love.
That's
if a white guy was a great rapper, we would show them love. We don't hate on anyone. Well, we might hate on each other, but that's a whole nother topic.
Yep.
But the world hates on us as a people, and they make sure they keep their foot on our neck so we won't rise to where we need to be. And this is a crying shame.
I'm going to say what you didn't want to say. They pit us against each other.
Yes.
Yep. They pit us against each other because we're only going to have so many blacks in here.
That's right.
And if you show up at my job, I'm like, I guess Pooh's here to take my job. I can't be friends with him. He's here for my job. That's what they do.
Yo, this is so crazy. I'm glad you said that. This is oh man, this is so crazy. There's I wish I could find it. It's a blaxploitation movie that was out back in the days, and they was all sitting around the table. Man, I wish I had that. I'm gonna send it to you. There's a scene in a blaxploitation movie where they're all sitting around. If anybody remembered this movie, please put it in the chat.
Wasn't Sophisticated Gents, was it?
No, it was in the 70s. It was a white guy who was a pimp, and he, was invited to upper class white dinner, and he went there, and they were all speaking. Oh man, because I would play it right now, and they were sitting at the table, and the premise was that they were arguing back and forth about how they let black people up, right? One guy was like, it's your fault, Jim, because, you give them jobs, you give them political power. He was like, That's not true because we don't do it to them all. We only take the smart ones out.
Yep.
We take the smart ones out, and then we give them a position of power. They start to feel like they're us, and they're rejected by their own kind, and we leave them isolated on an island by themselves.
And the problem is that culturally they start identifying with that culture instead of who they came from.
There you go. And this
to
is in
fit
the
in.
70s.
And they don't fit in. And then
Fact.
when they come back, you know, the OJ, you know,
Yep.
when OJ was in trial, he was black.
That's right. Jay-Z said it, right?
Yeah, he
I'm not
became
black, I'm
then.
OJ.
Yeah, I need you guys to help me. So I'm black now.
Facts. That's
Yeah,
so
it's a
real,
shame.
man. Well, listen, we're not going to end on a bad note.
No,
but
not at all.
what I want to do is give you the opportunity to speak to your students or future students who have in doubt about getting into the finance world and the challenges that they may face, because I know they're hearing your story, and just let them know the real behind.
All right.
the
So
situation.
let me make this clear. Wall Street does a very good job of making you think that you're not smart enough to do this without them. They do a really good job of that. That's what they get paid for. I'm here to tell you that basic common sense is going to get you through this. And the other thing I'll say, which I always tell my students, is if I asked you about your favorite sports team, where they went to college, how many points, this, that, you could tell me. You have to have that same passion about the stock market. See, I had a passion for it. And so you could not deny me. I learned everything I could. I understood the language. It's not hard. They just put it that way to make you think it's hard. It's not, guys. It's really not. You just need somebody that's going to break it down to you and explain to you what I call basic, simple English in a language you can understand. And by the way, if you really want to learn the language of Wall Street, you got to read the Wall Street Journal. I'm sorry, you got to read it. You might not like it. Pick it up and read it for maybe 5 minutes a day, but you have to learn the language of the industry. So if we're talking basketball, I tell you to take a V cut to the basket, or cut back door, or close out and force them right. You know what I'm talking about. Well, when I talk to you about the growth rate, return on investment, and return on equity, and what's happening with the growth, and what the catalyst is going to drive the growth of this company, drive the value, you need to understand that language. It's not hard. It's just I'm using their vocabulary, but all I was basically saying was, what's going to make this stock or this company become more valuable? What's going to drive it? That's the catalyst. And to give you an example of that, a catalyst, I always do this. Nike has a sneaker, they come out with it, and they change the color. That catalyst has a very short duration, which means it'll send us to the store to buy those sneakers, but it's only going to last for maybe a couple of weeks. Let's say Nike comes out with a whole new technology of a sneaker, totally different than anything we've ever seen. That's a catalyst that could drive Nike for the next 5, 6, 7 years, because it's a whole new sneaker that they're going to sell to the public. Then they're going to go through all the different colors and this and that. So they know how to drive value. That's what I mean by what's going to drive the value. Is it a fad or is it new? So hopefully you guys get that. And
that's awesome. Oh, I found it. It's called Trick Baby.
You conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people.
Hold on. I'm going to bring it back.
I wrote it down.
You conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard, you liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Oh, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
Now listen, I
Yep.
tell people all the time,
Yep.
America tricks us. They put falsehoods on the news because everybody's reading the same script. And
Yep.
all the news,
Yep.
listen to me, all the news that you see on TV is predicted years in advance. This is
Yep.
how much on their game they are. But what they do is the flip side, they flip it. And when we go to the movies and we think we're being entertained, our antennas are down. We're in relaxed mode because we think we're being entertained. That's when they tell you the truth. Because we go, nah, that can't happen.
Yep.
The same way how the Godfather in 1973 said, yo, we're going to deal drugs, but we'll put it in the black community because they're animals anyway.
Yep.
They're going to tell you in the movies, but when we watching the news and we feeling important, we feeling like we getting smart and we have our antennas up, that's when they slip their lies through and they're not really telling you the truth. So
Yep.
this is so crazy, brother.
It really
I
is.
could go on and on for days about this, but brother, you're a revolutionary at heart, and I'm glad you're taking a stand. We're going to end this on a good note. All
Yes,
right?
sir.
We're going to end this on a good note, brother. We're going to end this on a good note. We're going to have some fun because we're about to do our top five.
All right.
Oh, okay.
All right.
We'll do that. But before we do that, I'll be remiss if I didn't do this. Okay? This is our very last question. If
right.
you could change one thing about your basketball journey, what would it be and why?
If I could change one thing, you know, I'm not that guy. I don't look back and say, you know, if I went to North Carolina, I'd be in the pros. I was before Michael Jordan. I wouldn't change anything. I hate to say it this way. God puts us right where we're supposed to be when we're supposed to be there. And like I said earlier, had I not gone to Florida and in Tennessee State, I wouldn't have this lovely woman that I've been with for almost 40 years and these two beautiful children. So I wouldn't change anything. I really wouldn't. I grew up. I learned a lot. I grew both physically and mentally. I'm okay. I wouldn't change a thing.
Let's blow a super check for that beautiful family you got.
Thank you.
You've got some. That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. But now we're going to get into our top five. All right, brother. We're going to end this on a good note. Top 5 players you played with.
What one top of the first on the list, Wayne McCoy.
Salute.
All right, so that, you know, so I could stop there, but Wayne McCoy. All right. Gosh. That I played with on my team with me. High
That's
school,
right.
college.
Anytime in the, you know, summer league, whatever. Top 5 players you played with.
Summer league too.
Yeah, we counting everything, brother.
Because, you know, this point guard spot's got me in a dilemma. And I know I'm going to knock some guys off that I'm happy I played with, but I got to go with Sam Worthing.
There you go. That's 2.
I got to go with Sam. I just got to go with Sam. Now the 2 spot. You know, I would put the Wizard at the 2 spot. You know who the Wizard is?
I would have thought it would be Sam Worthing, but since you're talking about the 2 spot, who you talking about?
Gus Williams.
Oh, that because he's the original Wizard. He's the original Wizard. Yes, he's the original. Yes.
And, you know, as much as people don't believe
Mount
it,
Vernon great, Mount Vernon legend, NBA great.
Gus was really not a point guard.
No, he wasn't.
Gus was a 2. DJ ran that point for years. Gus was a 2. So I'm going to put Sam at the point and Gus at 2. All right, now let me see. I got to get a small forward and a power forward.
Where is Wayne playing?
I'm going to have Wayne at center.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm gonna move Wayne to the 4 spot. I'm gonna put my boy Jeff Rulin at the 5.
Ooh, Jeff Rulin. Tough.
See, I like a big man behind me that's nasty and mean.
Yes.
That when things, I got rid of curse, I apologize. When things get rough, and I send them to the hole, I know that somebody's gonna put them on their back.
Right.
As Jordan said when he played against the Washington Bullets back in the day. They said, Jordan, what'd you learn? His first game. He said, I learned I can't dunk on the Bruise brothers, Rick Mahorn and Jeff Rulin.
Jeff Rulin, Bay Shore legend, NBA great.
Yep. And now I got to come up with the 3 spot. Oh, that's Dr. J.
There
What am I
you
doing?
go.
He said who played with her against. I'm thinking about guys like my age. I'm like, wait a minute, Dr. J.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, we definitely going to end on a good note. That's right.
By the way,
we're going to end on a good note.
Before I forget, I did dunk on Doc. I did dunk on Moses.
Yo, hold on. What? How you gonna wait to the end to tell?
What? You name him. You name him. I'm trying to dunk on him.
Man, that's crazy. 2 NBA top 50 ball players.
Now Moses only jumped about that high, so it wasn't hard. Doc, I was smelling myself because I tried to block Doc's dunk. That was stupid.
He caught you back.
Yeah,
strong Allen to strong Allen. That's
right. I mean, I
right.
went up with him, and like Daryl Griffith, I went up, he went up, I came down, he kept going up. So all I remember doing was ducking my head not to get hit with the ball when Doc dunked on me. But I caught him too. So turnaround's fair play.
That's right. All fair in basketball. All right. We done got with the top 5 guys you played with. Now, top 5 guys you played against.
Top 5 against. I'm going to put Sam Bowie at center.
This guy just naming names that, man.
I'm going to put Sam Bowie at center.
Legendary.
I'm going to put Dominique at the 3 spot. Small forward. I'm not sure I'm going to put the power forward yet. At the 2 guard spot, you're going to laugh when I tell you this. He's the most intense, hard-nosed competitor I ever played against in my life. Andrew Toney.
Oh, he was a dog. He was a dog.
You just don't know.
Woo.
Now, he liked me. He always say to me, Mike, you're bigger than me. You're strong. You come at me. You make me work. You get me ready for the league. You get me ready for the season. Because, yep. But believe it or not, I blocked his jumper.
That's a hard thing to do because that jump shot, he got way up on that jump shot.
Got him. I took pride in my defense. So I got Andrew Toney at the 2.
Mm-hmm.
Now you said who I played it. See, I never played against Magic. So I can't put Magic there. Point. I already gave you Sam. Point. Who did I ever play against that was just the toughest? I can't think of one. Because most of the guys I played against I really thought was really, 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 really tough. I mean, there's guys I respect. But the best one I ever played against, gosh, I'm not sure who to put at that point spot.
This is the hardest part of the show, people. I just want to let y'all know. This top 5 is definitely the hardest part of the show.
Ooh, so what am I missing? I'm missing the point guard and I'm missing what? A 2 guard. Mm-hmm. No, I gave you Andrew Toney. I'm missing the point guard.
And the center. Oh, you didn't say the center. Who's
no, I said Rulin.
That was in the first list.
Oh, damn. No, Sam Bowie. I got Sam Bowie.
Yes, you got Sam Bowie. Yes.
I got Sam Bowie. I got Dominique at the 3 spot.
Andrew Toney
at the 2. I need a point. I need a power forward.
Yeah. They don't have to be now. They could just be, the top players. They don't have to be by position.
Oh, okay. Another 5. Gene Banks when I was in high school.
Gene Banks
when I was in high school. Dropped a 50 piece on us.
Woo!
Gene Banks.
That's illy right there. That's dangerous.
I'm gonna add another guard. I played against in high school. JoJo Hunter. You ever heard
JoJo
that
Hunter.
name?
No, I'm not familiar.
JoJo Hunter's out of DC. JoJo Hunter. I got a couple. But JoJo Hunter should have went pro right out of high school. He went to, was it Dunbar? He's
Yo,
out of,
Gene, you in the chat? Let us know, Gene.
I know Gene knows the name. JoJo Hunter. All the DC guys know JoJo Hunter. He's out of DC or Philly. I think he's out of DC. Spanked us. I was like whoa. So I'm gonna put JoJo up there. I know. God, there was another name that popped in my head too. Oh well, World Be Free. I played against World. World threw in 36 on me, and as you know how he does, he threw in 36 on me and left at halftime. You know how he does. He always leaves at halftime.
Oh man, let me tell you, I'm watching him give Magic in LA the business on ESPN the other night. World was now, I watched him, but later on. But when you see him early on in his career, he was a problem.
I dropped 36 myself, but I played the whole game. World dropped 36 on me and then left at halftime. I was like, yeah, homeboy's legit. Homeboy was legit. Yeah.
All right, we're going to get into our last top 5, but people were asking me what was the name of that movie. That movie was called Trick Baby. You can find it on YouTube. It's called Trick Baby. Definitely a movie you should check out. And if you haven't watched the movie The Spook Who Sat by the Door is also on YouTube as well. Another great movie. Check it out.
Yep.
And the book. The book is better.
Yep.
I'm going to let you know right now. The book is always better. I did both. Facts. He said DC, he went to Mackin.
Yep, there it is.
He went to Mackin. Yeah, he went to Mackin.
Oh,
yep.
Mackin. Yep.
Played
against Mackin my sophomore, junior, and senior year. Played against him 3 times. Yep.
Got
came
you.
Up from DC.
Definitely. Man, like I'm only doing New York and you only doing Hoyas. Just imagine if you did the whole DC. The show would never end. Crazy. Salute to my guy, G. Smith. That's my brother right there. All right. Last one.
Yes.
Top 5 players in Long Island history.
Top 5 players in Long Island history.
To your,
that I
on your perspective.
played against Rulin, Jeff Rulin, Wayne McCoy, Dr. J. I'm gonna put myself in there. Yeah, I'm gonna put myself in there. I'll go against any.
Hold on. Professor Mike Milligan has just took in the top range. We love it. Ayatollah, big tech. Listen, brother, I love the fact that that's right, because we celebrating you.
And then I'm gonna put one in here. A lot of people never really played college ball. Steve Satch Brawley. Satch. Playground legend. Satch.
Where's he from?
He's from Lakeview. He came to Lutheran for 1 year. He went to Malvern. Malvern High School.
Got you.
Older brother Horace, him, the whole family can play. His high school coach at Malvern wanted to put his sister on the boys' varsity because he said she was the best point guard in school. The whole family could play. And Satch is a legend. You talk to anybody in our generation from Long Island and just say the name Steve Brawley is Satch, and they're going to say the exact same thing. Satch is pros would come in the summer leagues and wouldn't want to play against Satch. He would embarrass everybody.
Man.
Everybody. Although I did see Artie Green one time break us both off.
Artie definitely gonna be on the show soon, so I'll definitely let you know when that happens, man.
Artie doesn't remember me, but he broke us both off. I was at 5-star with Artie. Yeah. He broke me and Satch both off one time in this tournament. He probably doesn't even remember me, but he broke us off. I was like, who is this guy? You know what I really said? Who is this guy?
That's right. For sure.
Yeah.
Well, listen, brother, let me tell you, it's been an honor having you on. I'm glad we was able to make this happen.
So am I. So am I. I enjoyed
I-
this. I really did. You know, I don't
I-
talk, like I said, I don't talk about my ball that often. I just don't. And this was an actual pleasure. You know, I look back and, you know, I'm still a little annoyed. I asked Tennessee State to put me in their Hall of Fame. They didn't.
What?
I'm not in Lou High's Hall of Fame. I'm not. So I'm a little perturbed about these schools that didn't put me in. I don't know why, but it is what it is. I still appreciate them. I still love them, and I still cheer for them, and I still support them.
Well, listen, you're definitely in our Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
And listen, you, some of the greatest players in New York City history have been on this platform. Derek Hawkins already know. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Said, glad I got to learn more about Mike Milligan, whose name I remember. People remember you and the impact you had on their life, man. Well, we definitely, man, we appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you. Thank you for the love and memories.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story with me. I feel honored.
My
All right?
pleasure. Like I said, I'm glad you've been after me for 3 years. You know, I remember when you first started the show,
That's
and
right.
it wasn't I didn't want to be on it. I'm telling you, I was, I'm dealing with those
That's
work
right.
issues. But I'm glad I'm glad I came on and you put a smile on my face. I mean, I'm remembering things I had forgot about, and people and friends. And now I'm gonna have to make some phone calls and call up some of these guys and chat with them now.
And listen, let them know about the show. Let them know about the show. And this platform is our platform. This
Yes,
is
sir.
our platform, New York City. So
Yes,
listen,
sir.
brother. Thank you, man. You're a legend. You're a hero. You're a pioneer. Okay? And you keep
And
up the good fight.
thank you. One last shout out.
Yeah,
I almost forgot.
yeah.
Mike
Mhm.
Moses. That's my last shout out. Mike Moses, my teammate from Florida, Tiny Mo. So another one. So these are guys who I was teammates with, I'm friends with, who I appreciate. And again, hopefully you'll have Mike on the show. St. John's legend, Mike Moses.
Listen, whatever you want, fam, we'll make it happen. Whenever you want to come back on the show, hopefully you'll be victorious and win back what belongs to you.
Already
And
won.
come back and you celebrate with us, brother.
Thank you. I will.
No doubt. You can stick around for our closing remarks, man. But again, man, I want to say this. Tonight was your night, and you are definitely one of the greatest players in New York history.
Thank you so much for the compliment. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mike Milligan, people. No doubt. Wow. What an amazing show. What an amazing man. See, you never know when the real fight begins. A lot of us think our greatest fight is on the basketball court. And then we get through that. We coming out smelling like roses. No matter what roller coaster ride they put us on, we come out on top. And the greatest thing is to be able to walk away with that degree and be able to transition into the real world. But the most confusing part is when you get to the real world and you get to the level when you want to compete with everybody else on an even playing field. Because in sports, they let us compete on an even playing field, whether y'all know it or not. And when we do, we work hard and we come out on the winning side most of the times. But when the real world happens, they put a ceiling over our head. They put barriers around us. They keep their foot on our neck to make sure we only grow but so high. As long as we stay at that level, they're cool with that. But once we want to rise up, we become a threat. And if it's not one of us that they want to move up, you become dangerous. And Mike Milligan, you're a dangerous man. You know why? Because of your mind. Not because of any violence or ill will towards anybody else, because of your great mind. no matter what they do, they can never hold you back. And just like another Long Island legend who said it's going to take a nation of millions to hold us back. Salute to Chuck D. You keep fighting a good fight, brother. We got your back. Well, I'm about to get out of here. Y'all know what it is. And y'all know who it is. Glenn Poole Harding on NYC Basketball History. Part of the NYC Basketball Network. Basketball heads, baby. Y'all know what it is. We about to sign off. And like we do around this time, we always gonna let you know we are the official home for New York City basketball. We out. Peace.